Warning, the following audio from the Bubba the Love Sponge show features bold humor, unfiltered language, and suggestive content that might challenge today's norms. If you're easily offended, this isn't for you. Listener discretion is advised.
Time to scratch that itch, is it?
Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
When the Republicans were saying, there's voter fraud going on down in Florida, Charlie said, nah, stop. No, there isn't.
What it is McCain right now is like a bad fart, and everybody's walking away, not taking credit for it,
and not really saying much either.
Palin comes around.
No, Palin comes around, and you blame it on her.
Yeah, it's a fart.
It was Joe the plumber who let that one.
Joe the plumber, was that you?
You are listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
All right, let's get this freak show on the road.
Hello, everybody.
Are you ready?
Here comes.
You are jam-packed.
I'm sure you've all heard the rumors, and they are true.
Bitch. Guess who's back, bitch?
The time has come.
It's time for us to do what the good Lord would refer to as a cleansing of the wicked.
MJ, Lex and Terry, you're my bitch.
The time has come to shake you out of your morning complacency.
What are you talking about?
Prepare for a broadcast of quasi-epic proportions.
You're not happy with the first 7 minutes? We're going to send you the extra minute free.
Are you ready?
Except for the rash thing's still there, right?
Here we go.
Let's bring it in. It's showtime, right?
Welcome to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Dave, come to the studio immediately. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
Nothing.
Well, I know you guys think I'm in a prick mood.
No,
but,
I don't think you're in a prick mood,
no,
actually.
but it's almost like, is it not just common sense, Spice?
Oh, no, I'm with you.
Dave, did you give me new headphones?
No, I was traveling with you guys this week, and I did not go shopping. Those are the same ones.
No way.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Here we go. It's a standoff.
Then there's something drastically different with my processing today. I'm telling you.
Okay, I didn't touch any of that either. I'll be happy to come check it, but the building was empty all weekend.
Dave's face is like befuddled and like,
it's Monday.
Come on, man.
It's Monday. I don't know what else to expect.
No, it's not Monday. I'm just saying something sounded just.
I will check into it. I mean, you've got great ears, so it's not.
Nobody. I mean, I hate to be a dick, Dave, but nobody spends more time listening to themselves than me, and I mean, so if you just would check it during the commercial,
I absolutely will.
Deal. All right,
no
thanks.
Problem.
No big deal. So these are my headphones.
Yeah, I mean, I was away. Now
hold on. But Dave, there could have been somebody else here, couldn't there?
But okay, I would love to know who. I mean, absolutely, that could be possible.
We were all in Detroit.
I mean, that's such a weird rib.
So there's a headphone conspiracy theory going on that somebody snuck in here.
All right, hold on. When I'm right, each and every one of you guys will apologize to me.
So let me get this straight.
Let me get this straight. Hold on. Let me get this straight, Ned. I wear the same headphones for 8 hours a day. You don't think that I would know?
I know, but you think someone came in here while we were all out of town, the entire staff, and
didn't touch anything else?
No, just replaced your headphones with a new pair of headphones. It just seems bizarre. I mean, I'm not questioning your ear.
That is sneaky.
I don't think my head got any fatter over the weekend because these headphones seem phenomenally tight all of a sudden. But anyway, no big deal. Dave, no big deal.
I will check it in between the commercial.
All right, thanks. Bye now. Probably, it's all in my head right now, Brent, because I am going crazy. First of all, I am going crazy, and then when I'm under the gun and I'm scrambling like I was at the first part of the show on a no-brainer type situation, it just completely gets me. I mean, what? How would you? You understand what I'm trying to say? Now I'm stuttering.
Yes, I understand what you're trying to say.
Spice, sometimes I really wish I could just walk around with my wiffle ball bat. I know I can't do this, but just when somebody just makes an absolute no-brainer, you're allowed to blast them right in the back of the head because that'll learn somebody. That'll make you. That's a correction or an adjustment.
And it's good for work morale.
It really is. Anyway, there's only one thing to talk about probably today, and that is the fact that the Rays last night, boy, Brent, I was not feeling so good as I was watching the ball game, especially when Pedroia, who I was like, man, this guy has got our number.
Well, he's
5'8.5", 100, and they say 180. I'd beg to differ.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks like Manson sitting up there. I mean, really, seriously.
But the guy's a stud, man.
He just uncoils his body, and boom. Anyway, Garza, the spitting cobra.
I'll tell you what, his breaking ball looked phenomenal last night.
Everything he did last night after he settled down a little bit.
Yeah.
and served up that softball to whatever the guy's name is, Short Doggy Dog.
Dustin Pedroia.
I think now here's the deal, because I was such a nervous wreck, and I was so tired, and I knew that if they did win, I would have to have a good show today. That I went to bed, Brent, at the top of the 8th.
That's exactly when I went to bed.
Exactly. And guess who and how I found out whether they won or not? When I woke up this morning, I had no texts, no nothing, so I had no way of finding. Lisa Lampanelli did text me last night at 12:30 and said, "Congratulations, enjoy the series." So then I woke up Heather and said, "Hey, the Rays won last night." So they won last night. Anyway, did Garza go to the 8th?
No, I don't think he did, because Price pitched 1.1, so he pitched the 9th and the last out of the 8th.
Wheeler pitched before him.
And
Bradford was in too, pitched too, but I don't think he got anybody out.
Now, somebody said, I was listening to the highlights. Did Price have the bases juiced at one time?
I don't think he did.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, because I saw.
You might want to do your homework, being the executive producer.
I was half asleep and saw the last inning.
Right.
I saw the Aki out, and there was only a runner on first for the last out.
Okay, somebody said that I thought I heard highlights today when I was listening to the Fox deal that he may have had the bases juiced. So anyway, make a long story short, the game 1 of the World Series starts in Tampa Wednesday versus the Phillies.
Yeah, Bradford juiced the bases, and then Price got him out of it.
Whew.
So the
I'm glad I went to bed. I never went him to sleep after that.
No, I wouldn't have.
So too jacked up.
So in the 8th, who opened the 8th? Did Bradford open the 8th? Do you know?
It looks like it went like this. It went Wheeler, Howell, Bradford, and then Price came in and because Wheeler got one out, Howell got one out, Bradford came in with bases loaded, and then Price got the last out. And then Price finished up in the 9th. I saw that.
Hey, Spice, could you politely get a hold of our publicist, Elise Brown, and tell her, listen, you keep to publishing and leave programming and blogging and such to us. I could care less what your drummer husband does and how he's able to generate traffic on his website. But I mean, did you see that, Spice?
Yeah, I did. No.
What did she want us to do? I got into like the first couple words of it, and then I just completely, you know how I am.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that deal.
But I mean, what did she want us to do?
Well,
some kind of blogging. What would be your wishful thinking? Disco. I mean, what was it? Do you know?
Start a thread where fans can log to dedicate the Rays win to someone or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Did anybody get a chance? Did any of you fine listeners get a chance to watch the CMT deal on Saturday? We were in Detroit for Bubba Palooza, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, and I didn't TiVo it. So I'm gonna have to. I'm sure that they will rerun it. I think they'll probably have another new episode on CMT this Saturday. Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. I myself did not get a chance to see it. No, nothing.
It got TiVo'd here. I know that.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I can only imagine how I sound. Probably horrible, to be honest with you, because it was control. What's that? I'm sorry.
I got one email from a listener that saw it and said that you were the best part of the show.
Well, that's a listener, though.
Yeah.
Bubba Raw has 3 clips of the best of the green room featuring surveillance cam footage, UFC fighter Joe Lazan, and kicking the crap out of Chip, which is always fun. A montage of some of the hottest chicks in the various shower scenes we've done. That's on BubbaRaw.com. BTLS.com. Get your new Ned Burning a Wheel shirt while they last. Backed by popular demand, the McGillicuddy shirt as well. And also on BTLS.com, check out the new Ned comic strip created by our very own Mark Anthony. Today at 9:15, Mick Foley. He'll be on the phone as he's now joining TNA Wrestling, as a matter of fact. Now, Spice, are we able to get a hold of, or can you give me Karen Angle's number? Because I heard she got let go.
She did, yeah. In fact, I've got her number. I'll pass it along to you.
Because I guess she got let go, and I'd like to talk to her about it. Kyle from Newport Richie. Hi, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I just want to let you guys know that Price did have the bases juiced.
Now, Brent read the box score from the 8th where it looked like Wheeler came in, and I don't know if he walked or...
Yeah, they 4 or 5 guys in the 8th inning to get the outs, but they were juiced for Price. And he pitched a phenomenal 9th inning, too.
Boy, talk about a ballsy move. Thank you, Kyle. Talk about a ballsy move on behalf of Madden. He throws in a rookie.
Yeah.
A guy that just got called up from Durham about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, about a month and a half ago. And maybe that was by design because the Red Sox have not seen this guy a lot and doesn't have a bearing on him.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the way Madden manages.
Yeah, I do too. He's great.
He's out of the box.
No, he really, really is. By the way, I'm working with the Ferret for you fine people of Jacksonville. I don't know if tickets are going to go on sale this Friday or not. But if not this Friday, next for the Bubba Palooza that's happening on Saturday, December 6th at the Florida Theater downtown. It's the last one of the year, and it might be the last one for a long, long time, actually. So the fine people of Jacksonville, get ready to possibly go online and get your tickets at probably Ticketmaster.com or BTLS.com, which will link you to Ticketmaster.com this coming Friday. Spice, will you follow up on that?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, cool. Ronald from Lake Wales, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I watched Hogan Celebrity Wrestling Saturday night.
Right.
You did a phenomenal job on that commentating part of it.
Well, thank you. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Was it cheesy? Did you like it? Did you?
Yes.
You liked it?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Well, I have to.
I'm gonna try and catch every episode of it.
But Ronald, I got a question for you, and obviously, I don't want to sound like I'm not supporting something that I'm a part of. But as a man, how could you not have been watching the Rays Red Sox game instead? I mean, Brent, that would have been something that definitely would have been TiVo worthy, but not watched it live as it was happening.
Yeah, because you can watch that anytime. The Rays Red Sox
yeah.
was live.
I saw it come on at like 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So instead of watching it at 8 o'clock, I watched it at 2 o'clock.
Oh, they must have
And then I watched the Rays.
They must have sneaked it in. Okay, Ronald. Well, thanks. You did at first. You were desperately close to losing your man card with me, but you regained quite nicely. Cord from Gainesville. People listen to us in Gainesville. Are you listening to me online? Or are you listening to us? Are you actually picking us up out of Tampa?
No, I'm picking you up out of 104 out of Jacksonville, or 105 out of Jacksonville.
Oh, okay, cool. What's going on?
Oh, no, I just going to let you know I heard you the other night, and it was all right. You know, the whole Hogan thing seemed a little contrived, you know, but you were definitely the best part of it.
Well, Cord, let's face it. I mean, pro wrestling is as contrived as it gets, my friend. I mean,
yeah, but the whole, the way it was filmed, you know, it didn't seem live. It seemed like it was filmed and then edited, and Bonaducci, man, he was over the top.
Corey, I love.
It seemed like it was filmed and edited.
Yeah, Corey, I love you to death, my friend, but absolutely, it was recorded and edited. I mean,
it's the way they do it.
You can't do it. I really less sporting events. I mean, even Saturday Night Live isn't live. It's taped at 4 o'clock in the afternoon
and edited.
I understand all that. It seems.
Stop calling me on the phone, you mother.
I mean, I hate to be a dick, sir, but I mean, I don't think you can do any. I really don't know hardly of anything that's live other than sporting events. Do you guys?
No, that's it.
Our report card came back. I don't know if we'll get to it today or not in the midst of the Rays talk, but I think that it's something that we definitely have to get into, and I'll probably ask you people to step up and let me know if it's important to you. We get 4 report cards a year. And it's considered the book. They call it the book. Now, they get a month. We get a monthly trend, a monthly kind of, what would you say, Manson, kind of a progress report?
Yeah.
But then quarterly, which is 4 times a year, we get a book. It's actually called the book. And people that boast about being number one or whatever have to you only have to be, in order to correctly, recant that, you have to only be talking about one of the 4 books that comes throughout the year. And this book, Arbitron, book came in on Friday at 10. And MJ, if I was a guess, it probably wasn't a very good weekend in the Schnitt household.
Well, I mean, when is it a good weekend?
Well, that's true. I mean, just him living there makes it somewhat of a bad weekend for the other parties involved. Hey, by the way, did anybody, Eddie from Tampa wants to comment on it? I'll get to it right now, but I think he's going to talk about the Bubba Army sticker that was on TBS last night. I got a couple screenshots. Did you see it, Spice?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. I got to try to find out who that guy was. Eddie from Tampa, hi.
What's going on, brother? How you doing,
What's going on, buddy?
I just want to see if you got any screenshots of the Army sticker that they're showing around.
Yeah, we did get that, as a matter of fact, Eddie. Thank you. And Spice, that's the kind of thing that's going to drive MJ and crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants his little fag-ass oval sticker. And he's such a little fag. But the ratings did come out on this past Friday, and some very, very, very interesting data. And Spice, if I'm a manager over there, I honestly, you got to be thinking that what they're doing is not working, and our masterful plan and how we've been playing this whole return is working out wonderfully now, considering that I wanted to use the Jabberjaw situation for a couple things. One, just to exploit and to get a firsthand account of how he really is from a person that really works there and not these disgruntled, whatevers. And then the other thing is, I wanted to exploit to the fine females, which is the majority of his base, as to what he's really like. And I think that his female numbers are deteriorating alarmingly. As a matter of fact, Spice, it's unheard of a classic rock radio station like 102.5 The Bone or Rock 105i to do well with women at all.
Yeah.
And we're now, albeit I don't know if this is a fluke or I don't know if this is just the sign to come, but with younger women, now I would expect us to do well with older women, but with younger women, 18 to 24, we beat MJ. We have a 17-7 share.
Number one.
Nice.
I mean, number one.
With women 18 to 24.
Now, Dan DiRetto, I got some respect, or, well, you know what I'm saying.
But and the really sad part is, those managers over there make really, really, really good money.
Yeah. And
to try to put the pieces of this thing back together.
Their experiment in the morning at 98 Rock is not even outperforming your radio station. I know you guys sit here. When are you going to, again, Spice, I think the minute that they become less obsessed with me and just start rolling their sleeves up and, stop counter-programming the fact that I'm back and that it's not going to work. By the way, for those scoring at home, we've only been here now since January. We will only have had 3 books, and we have been number 1 for the 3rd consecutive book. So, Spice, maybe the minute that they say, okay, hey, listen, Bubba he's back. He's going to, always garner between this and this. Let's try to pick up the pieces and stop counter-programming him.
God, I wouldn't even be telling them that. Let them keep doing what they're doing.
That's true.
Seriously.
That's true.
They would never figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
You really let the cat out of the bag.
Why should we be the ones to fix that cluster?
But if they would just listen.
No. Let them not listen. Let them keep doing what they're doing. Let them bury themselves.
God. I don't get it. Anyway, I would definitely like, of course, a bunch of Rays talk today. Probably the majority of the show will be Rays talk. We have Mick Foley on at 9:15. But Spice, Breno, whomever, I got to think, in the 8 o'clock hour, people might want to hear this. I know, but we could be, I think every time we've gone to it, though, the people always vote for it. It may be a little too inside. It's kind of radio nerdish. But, if I had a favorite program that I watched or whatever, and they do have ratings, but see, for some reason, nobody in media ever talks about it. They go out and sell it to the advertising agencies and to local advertisers and national advertisers, but they don't ever get on the air. Probably, Spice, because, somewhere somebody's getting their ass kicked and nobody wants to be able to really talk about it.
True.
So, we might get into that earlier or later today, I should say. Michelle from Palm Harbor, hi.
Hi, Bubba. I just wanted to say that I enjoy your show and you're doing an awesome job. I'm a woman, obviously, and I don't listen to anything else.
Well, thank you, Michelle.
I'm sorry?
Thank you so much. And, at the end of the day, that's the final piece into our puzzle because, we expect men to like what we do because we're obviously dudes and somewhat heathenistic. But when we can start making when we can start getting good women like yourself to listen as well, then it's all over but the crying, my friend.
Well, I think, hopefully more women are tuning in, and it's a wonderful show. I listened to you back in the day on FLZ, and it's wonderful.
Were you one of those hot little freaks that used to participate on No Panties Thursday?
I can't say that, but
it's okay.
I listened to you back in the day, and I'm listening to you now, and you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks so much. Last call, Ashley from St. Pete, and I got to do some words, so I'm scrambling around behind it. Hi, Ashley. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
I just wanted to say I'm not surprised at all that women in that age group are listening. I'm 23, and I never miss your guys' show.
My husband turned me on when you guys first came back. He had told me all about you, and I never miss it. And I know for a fact that there's, at least a dozen of my friends who listen as well. All the same age group. We love you guys. You guys are hilarious, and I also love it when you talk about serious stuff like the politics and everything. You really open my eyes to that stuff, too. So you guys are great.
Thank you, Ashley. Take care. The Bucks got that ass last night.
Yeah, they whooped Seattle.
I saw a little bit. I was going back and forth a little bit, and I watched some hapless-ass quarterback for Seattle. They looked like Trace could have done better.
Seattle is hurting, man.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're terrible.
I don't think we got an opportunity, Manson, to talk about Trace's performance this past Friday. How'd he do?
Did pretty good. I think he had like a 40-yard touchdown catch and
as a receiver.
Yeah.
Wow.
And about a 35-yard touchdown run.
But wow,
he's getting after it.
He is. Think we should talk to Levitz about getting maybe a walk-on deal over there at USF?
That'd be nice.
I mean, if you wanted to go to USF. And and you thought that he could be competitive as a flanker or whatever he plays. Or, what? How about a kicker? Now, is he getting good? I mean, is he as good as you? Is he as good as you are at kicking?
Oh man, we were out in the pasture,
right in the
a
back
couple
40.
weeks ago. Yeah, we're having a little kickoff, and he's right about with me right now.
Can you imagine though, man, if he actually, he may not be big enough or whatever for a Division I.
I think he could play small college.
Small?
Yeah. But he's definitely not Division I. But hey, I won't say definitely not. You never know.
No, I'm not.
He's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably maybe a fine line as to whether he could play Division I as a flanker or whatever, but I'm sure that if you spent some time with him kicking, he could kick Division I. Don't you think?
If he could get the grades.
Oh, that's right.
He's like sweating now. His report card comes out this week. He's like, if I get a C in Spanish, I can still play football. And I'm like, oh, Trace, come on.
You mean this coming week?
It's all down to Spanish and a C.
Spanish is way overrated, man. You know what?
I agree.
I'm going to be honest with you.
My kids hate it.
I had that same trials and tribulations in high school with Spanish, except I wasn't putting all my chips on a C. I was putting on a D minus, because I did good in some other things, but Spanish just sucks.
Just all that stuff. I mean, you only keep it as long as you need it, and as soon as the test is over, you let it leave your brain. It's not stuff that you retain for your entire life.
And not only that, man, but you know what? Well, now that we're making kids take Spanish in high school and college, or I'm sorry, whatever, they start it now in elementary school. Haven't we just now thrown the towel in? The fact that there's a lot of Spanish situations that have taken over our environment, and you may need it. Well, I think that's a problematic in the fact that we may need it. We should never need it.
I agree.
Now, if you're going to go, be a world traveler and you're going to travel abroad, you might want to take some various languages. But I mean, hey, come on.
I'm just glad
you shouldn't have to take another language if you don't plan on traveling.
I'm glad Spanglish never took off, because that would have really sucked. I mean, that was like, the hybrid of the two that they were thinking about really, really, really pushing in this country.
Hybrid? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, I think it has to do with our education system, because I think every country in the world, they speak another language. But we just don't teach kids right here, because we teach them Spanish for 12 years and they know nothing.
I remember Vamos a la Playa. That's it. Let's go to the beach.
I remember some cuss words.
Yeah. No, a couple of those.
Yeah. I think I can remember like pluma was a pin. And Ventano or something was a window, I think. And,
that's random.
And Poquito meant small. And Gordo meant fat. I heard that a few times. Spanish sucks. Again, what are we saying? We've just pretty much all given up the fact that, okay, we're going to have to learn Spanish. Well, why do we have to learn Spanish? Well, because there's so many of them illegal people living in our country. So in order to be able to communicate efficiently with them, you got to not poke. That's horseshiz.
There's some cities in America that you can almost now not live there.
Like Miami.
And San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost not live there without knowing Spanish.
You can almost be a minority in a few cities here in our great country. You can be a minority as a white or black American.
That doesn't
matter.
Speak Spanish.
It doesn't matter, just as an American.
And I don't think it's redneck to say, speak English. We should speak English in America. I don't think it's a white trash thing to say. I think it's common sense.
I agree.
Who's working who?
Seriously.
You're listening to the Bubba Radio Network.
Did you know every Sunday a football fan goes without watching their favorite player?
According to a recent study by DirecTV, over 50 million fans live away from their team.
It's a condition known as displaced fan syndrome. or DFS?
I first contracted DFS when Peyton moved to Indianapolis, then again when Eli went to New York.
Thankfully, DirecTV has a cure.
Never miss a moment of your favorite team. NFL Sunday Ticket only from DirecTV. Every game, every Sunday.
Help fight DFS.
Make the call.
Why are you guys drinking Coke Zero?
We're not. We're drinking Coke, buddy.
But it says Coke Zero on the bottle.
Well, they must have messed up then and put Coke in the wrong bottle.
I don't see what you...
Okay, Eyeball. Why don't you try it for us? Oh, I forgot you can't. You don't have a mouth.
No mouth.
Well, while we're busy drinking Coke, why don't you go stand in front of a hairdryer or something?
Yeah, hairdryer. What?
Real Coke taste. 0 calories.
What are you doing? Somebody left these new Starburst gummy bursts in here. They have this juicy burst inside. Watch this. We have to get in there.
You are listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Hello, and welcome to the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation. If you reached this number in error, you're in luck because we're about to serenade you.
Oh, the tobacco plant is a lovely plant. Its leaves so broad and green. But you shouldn't think about the tobacco plant if you're still a teen. 'Cause tobacco is a big person's plant, and that's the way it should be. So if you're under 21, go and climb a tree.
Jesus.
Oh, the tobacco plant is a lovely plant, and that, my friends, is no yarn. We let it ripen in the field and hang it in the barn.
Wow.
If you think that really sucks, we agree. Write a better song about the tobacco plant and we'll use it. Now press 1.
Good morning, Brown & Williamson. How can I help you?
I was calling about this, that Brown and Williams jingle you got there.
Yeah, what do you think?
It sucks.
Oh.
Sucks big donkey.
Wow.
It says you could write your own, so I've done that. Well, now what do I do from here?
Okay, well, let me tell you where to send it, okay? You got a pen?
Actually, wanted to perform it live, but I'd rather just...
Well, the person that you need to perform live for, I guess, probably isn't here right now. So,
sure you don't want to hear it?
Sure, I'll listen to it.
All right. Come here, boys. Oh, the tobacco plant is a lovely plant, and when this song is sung, I'll smoke a pack of Marlboros in my iron lung, 'cause I got emphysema and I can't blow out a match.
That's not good.
You don't think they'll buy that one, huh? They're looking for something a little lighter, a little more...
A little spicier, yeah.
Oh, yes, spicy. Did you say spicy?
Well...
Oh, the tobacco plant is a lovely plant, and they pick it when it's ripe. My wife got throat cancer, so I get from the hole in her windpipe.
I don't think you should put that one on there.
Oh, I'd like to thank the tobacco plant. It is my favorite crop, 'cause the doctor cut out her vocal cords and she can't tell me to stop.
Well...
She can't. Just keep going.
Probably a little on the lighter side.
Oh, well, I got lighter sides here. Oh, the tobacco plant is so flavorful. Grab a smoke and take a drag. Then you'll get cancer and you'll have to spin a colostomy bag.
Well, that's worse.
Worse?
It's getting worse before it gets better.
Well, I got a million of them. I'm going to keep trying. Oh, the tobacco plant is a lovely plant with leaves as green as grass. I use them in my app. Coming around.
Well, you want me to give them your name and let them know that you're interested in this, or?
Well, my name's Ned.
I'll say, well, now I have somebody here named Ned, and he's got some pretty good stuff, but he just needs to lighten up a little on it.
Lighten up some of my middle name, darling. Oh, my wife smoked when she was pregnant, 'cause that's what she enjoyed. She ignored the warning labels, and our baby is mongoloid.
Ned.
Oh, he spits and drools and his pants, and he can't put on his socks.
Ned.
He's only 10.5 years old.
Ned.
Smokes Camels in the box.
Aw. Good morning, Brown & Williamson. How can I help you?
Yes, I am the reader of the mouth since Bubba stopped quartet. And I thought it would be appropriate if we were to sing a jingle.
Ned.
The back of bed is a baby pants at the back end of dip.
Ned.
Get please, I get mouth cancer and amputate my lips.
Website, btonus.com. Today at 9:15, Mick Foley on the phone. He's going over to TNA to wrestle for Dixie Carter. And I think is Kurt Angle's still over there, right, Spice?
Yeah, he's still there.
Samoa Joe.
Christian Cage. I think Mick is. I think he's going to be more of a face man.
Probably help do some booking too as
Yeah,
well. I think I actually, from what I've been told, Jared's not doing so swell over there.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a little trouble in paradise over there.
Now, what's the deal? Did he own TNA and then sold it to Dixie, or how did that go down?
I think he had something to do with the investing of it. Yeah, I do. I think him and his dad started it out of Memphis back in the day, and then Dixie Carter is the head of Pana Energy or something like that. The Pana Group or Panda or Pana Group, something like that. Just some interesting college and football. Actually, I'll go through all the NFL scores for you. Man, boy, I don't know where the Packers looked pretty good yesterday, did they not?
Let me tell you about the Packers defense. I saw this last week when I watched the game. I was watching the game yesterday.
I watched a little bit.
They were baiting Peyton Manning to throw the ball and picking him off.
Go, Pack, go!
I saw the 37 guy take one back 100 to 99 yards.
Did you see the pick that Collins got?
No, I didn't. I only watched probably 5 minutes of the whole game.
Nick Collins picked one off and then made some nice moves to run it back for
I couldn't get out of my way on Sunday. I had to go pick up Tizzy, and then I cut a deal with Tyler. I'm like, hey, listen, Daddy, you can play a video game for an hour and 15 minutes if you let Daddy take a nap.
Deal cut with your kid.
He was like, really? I go, yeah. So when the big hand gets here, after it goes through, come get me. Sure enough, just like clockwork. Some college football scores you might find somewhat interesting. Some upsets. TCU beat ninth-ranked BYU 32-7. Ninth-ranked BYU. What are they?
They were looking great, too, and everybody was saying, oh, they're going to be the fly in the ointment. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Our very own South Florida Bulls here in Tampa, the 19th-ranked USF Bulls, 45-13 over Syracuse.
That was a smashing.
Number 21 ranked Wake Forest, Dunn, Maryland. Is that Ralph Friedgen?
Ralph Friedgen got him.
And the Terps.
With that gizzard.
26-0. Number 10, Georgia beats, but not that soundingly, only by 10, 24-14 over Vandy. Vandy's, man, they're all about, well, they were 22nd, right? They won a couple decent games this year.
Yeah, they're 5-2 now.
18th ranked North Carolina gets beat in overtime, 16-13 over Virginia. So I'm thinking that USF may go up a few slots, at least a couple.
Yeah, I think they're going to get into the top 15 this week.
Alabama had a tough time with Miss, and that's 24-20. Alabama, of course, number 2 ranked in the entire world.
Yep.
24-20. These are just scores you may find interesting. I'm not going to go through them all. There's too many. Number 17th ranked Virginia Tech upset over Boston College, 28-23. And Arizona, out of nowhere, beats 25th ranked California, 42-27.
Love it. And the Miami Hurricanes lost to Duke.
Oh, no, I don't think they did.
No, I think they won.
Did they win?
No, they won.
I think they came back.
Some of the Miami fans told me Saturday night they lost.
Nope. I actually think they won. Here we go. Let me see. Hold on. I had it here a second ago. Let me see. It was just here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Miami, 49-31.
Yeah,
over Duke. 49-31 Ballard. And then NFL-wise, I'll just go through them all. Buffalo, what's their record now? Buffalo is... Have they lost one?
I want to say they're 6-1, 4 or 5.
Did Buffalo win?
Yeah, they beat.
They're undefeated then.
They beat. No, I don't think they.
Did they lose last week?
I don't know if they lost last week or not. But anyway, they beat San Diego 23-14. This week's leaders, Garcia, Tampa Bay's very own Jeff Garcia, 310 yards.
Man, he looked good. He did. Buffalo's 5-1.
Gus Frerotte, Minnesota, 298 in a losing effort. Chad Pennington in Miami in a losing effort, 295. Kyle Orton in a winning effort, 283. And Schwab from Houston, and probably, I don't know if they won it in a bucket effort, probably 267. Chicago, 48-41 in a barn burner over Minnesota. Tennessee, still undefeated over Kansas City last night, 34-10.
Kerry Collins.
Drunk.
That's the key.
Giants 29-17 over San Fran. Houston in the battle of the ass buckets over Detroit 28-21. Carolina over New Orleans. Brent, what happened to your Saints? 30-7.
Two things. They looked bad on defense, and Shockey sucks.
Ended up being a horrible trade for him, did it not?
It's terrible.
Well, no, man, all you got to do is do your research on the guy. I don't think he's had a season yet that he's not missed a bunch of games. He's a paper tiger. He gets tweaked.
And he's not only
for being a guy that's that thick, he gets so tweaked.
Not only that, he's turned the ball over personally now 4 times.
Boy, I got to think that Lovey is it? No, not Lovey Smith. Marvin is it Marvin? Who's the guy who coaches Cincy?
Marvin Lewis.
Man, I got to think that he's pretty much done.
Yeah.
38-10, Pittsburgh killed the Bengals.
0-6.
Baltimore 27-13 over Miami. St. Louis in an upset over Dallas 34-14. Are people figuring Dallas out or what?
No, here's the problem. Romo was out for Dallas, Tony Romo, and their secondary is
and of course Pac-Man. We don't know when he's ever getting back.
Their secondary is horrible anyway.
Packers 34-14 over the Colts. Jets beat in overtime 16-13 and a Janikowski 57-yarder that looked like it could have been good from 65. Manson, you're a big field goal kicker. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was great. That's a pressure kick.
Did you see he had, in my opinion, 5 to 7 yards?
Yeah, I mean, it was with, 58 or 59 yards?
57.
57, and as soon as he kicked it, they all raised their hands. I mean,
they
there was no doubt.
Did you see Favre bring the Jets back to tie the game?
I mean, less the guy being a head case. Janikowski, man, God, he's got such a fat foot.
He does. I mean, he booms that ball a long way, man.
Washington over Cleveland 14-11, and then the Bucs over Seattle 20-10 yesterday. And Garcia looked like
he looked good, man.
I'll tell you, Spice, man, they almost but I mean, are they groomed? I mean, is Greasy going to be the guy?
I don't think so because the Bucs look a lot better with Garcia than they did with Greasy. The Bucs with Garcia are really good. Remember they smashed the Panthers last week.
But I don't think the Bucs are going to re-sign Garcia after this.
You don't think so?
Regardless, I don't see it happening. Because he's going to want more money. And they're not going to want to pay.
Especially if they're good and they go to the playoffs, because it'll be and to his testament the fact that he took them for the last 2 years to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then you're forced to step up and pay him like you wanted him to pay him this year.
You know what formation the Bucs were running yesterday that was working for him and looked good was they moved. Ernest Graham was playing fullback out of necessity because they had some injuries.
Man, he's good.
And then they had Warwick Dunn at tailback. So both of those guys were somebody you got to think about.
That would be a formation I'd be interested in keeping around.
Yeah, it looked good.
Blind Tom from Fort Myers. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Bubba, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, guy, you just hear you're from Detroit last weekend?
We all of us just got back from Detroit. We were there on Saturday. Did a gig there at Bubba Palooza on Saturday, and then flew back in the afternoon yesterday.
How'd you like it?
It was all right. I mean, it was cool. I mean, I'll tell you the downtown area by the stadium and stuff is nice. The outer fringes are a little.
As long as you go to a sporting event, you're safe.
Are a little Saigonish, but
to
say the least. Yeah, it looked like Beirut. I mean, seriously.
Detroit, remember they were in last place, and then they got that new coach, and they came back and went to the World Series and lost to the Cardinals.
How many packs do you smoke?
Yeah, this guy calls himself Blind Tom.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But anyways, they came from last place to the World Series, so we got to hope Tampa comes through this.
Yes, we do. Well, I got to tell you about Manson. Up until this past weekend when we flew Northwest, I know you got a buddy that works over there, but up until this past weekend that we flew Northwest, I hadn't flown Northwest a lot. It's been a long time, actually. And, prior to that, Continental was really, I fly Delta and I fly, we fly a bunch of different things, but Continental had the best first-class service that I'd flown in a while. But I got to tell you, man, Northwest certainly's got some good first-class service. Did you see that food that they gave us on the way up?
It was delicious.
Man, it was great, and they had a nice chef salad.
I bet they did. That's cool.
on the way back.
Yeah, tell us more about how the first class was. It sounds nice.
If you'd like
sounds
to,
awesome. It was
if you'd like to get off a few,
Spice.
if you'd like to get off a few of your dollars that you make and upgrade yourself, you can do that, my friend. That's what we do.
Oh, you got off some of your own dollars. It got bumped up. Is that what you're telling me?
Let me ask you a question. Yes, my own dollars. It doesn't. I don't take our first class upgrades off of the line item and what we make.
No. I'm not saying that. But
maybe I used some.
Is it because of the black card or your frequent flyer miles or something like that?
A little bit of both. Maybe it had to do something with Manson's friendship.
That's what Hamill does. He just out of pocket upgrade, baby.
I mean, Spice.
Must be nice.
Well, I mean,
thanks to Robert and Russ over there at Northwest helping us get through security and everything. Making it sure.
Oh, you guys got through security pretty nice too, huh?
They just made sure everything was okay, no problems.
Robert and Russ, respectfully, nice guys.
Wow.
Oh, Spice, don't even get into the various hookups that you have. By the way, hold on, Spice. Who's the guy? You're the one going to the. You're the one that it's going to the World. You're going to the World Series game on Wednesday. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm going with Huff.
Well, I don't care. It's because your friendship with Huff that you're going. It's because of my friendship with Manson that we sat up in first class. Touche, right, Manson?
Touche.
I mean, it's some people have hookups.
That's right.
You're actually more well connected in this town than I am.
It's different stuff. Different hookups.
Yeah, it's true. You tend to be lower level hooked up, street level. I'm a little bit more.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I tell you one thing. I can have. Look at this guy. Who's this, Brent? Who is this?
That's when you are pushed down, you come back
right
that
there,
much stronger. And you learned it again this series, BJ. This team will not stay down.
Well, man, I got a new character. It's called Superfly. You know what I'm saying? I'm a super. I mean, he should go out and play center field that way, Brent.
That'd be so funny.
We feed off of each other and stick together. So
he's the whitest sounding black guy I ever heard.
Is she taller than him?
Yeah. Oh, she's tall, man.
The important lesson that this team learns from this.
Well, she's an Amazon though, man. So you got to understand. I mean, she may be taller than most forwards in the NBA.
To believe in what you're doing, to believe.
He's got a minor Ray Hawk, Spike. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Madden does.
John Chalice is on my wrist. Courage plus believe equals life. I believe that could also mean courage plus believe equals win, and that's the motto I've carried for myself.
The consensus.
They're pouring beer
and champagne, beer and champagne.
Sure are a lot of fun. The Rays win. One more.
I wish somebody would have put one right over her big Amazon.
The Rays in the winning clubhouse at Tropicana Field. I'm Chris Field, Fox 13.
She's not bigger than Kazmar, man. Look how big. You don't realize how big Kazmar is until he's next to that Amazon.
That's what that was. And the papers, of course, that's what it looks like this morning. Hello, world. This front page of the St. Pete Times, not just the sports section.
Well, I'll tell you, were you guys a little concerned when they came out and Lester went and sat down the first 9 guys?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and then I was like, all you got to do with this guy. I mean, I hate to say, here I am, this fat ass that could never even think about doing anything against Lester. But as I'm watching, I'm like, all you guys got to do is swing the bat. Stop. I don't care if you strike out swinging. And then something came to life. And we had that one rally where, and then Ibar's a homer.
I felt better as soon as the game was tied 1-1.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, they got. It's like okay, they got it.
They got a run, so now they're in the groove.
Yeah, it was huge when they sent Pena on that triple because when they got the ball, I was like, he's dead.
Yes.
He's dead. He's dead. But he beat it.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I don't know if it's Hickey or who plays. Third base coach, but and Pena's not the fastest guy in the world.
He was hustling his ass off.
He was hustling his ass off, and I think that's like their mentality. I think Coach Joe may have said, "Hey, listen, you know what? This is do or die. Let's not be conservative." I mean, even when you are if you're dead to rights or not dead to rights or close to being thrown out, you still got a 50-50 chance on something going awry, whether the ball popping out, taking a short hop. So, I mean,
the catcher doesn't hold on to it.
The throw was just a little up the line. Yeah, you got it.
And you know what? Actually, not only was it a little up the line, Manson, you're right, it was just a little up the line, but also I think the AstroTurf scurried it down a little bit.
Yep.
But you're right, Manson, it was just a little left towards the third base line because if not, it would have been either he would have been out or it would have been a very close call. Did you guys see when Big Papi struck out and Navarro just fired a cannon shot and had whoever, I think it was Pedroza actually.
Pedroia.
I had him beat by a step and a half.
Easy.
Navarro will finally, I think, next year start getting the credit he deserves because defensively, and he's got a great stick too, but defensively, he is probably the best catcher in the American League.
I think
right
he
now.
had the best percentage of throwing out runners, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he did
because
I think he did. And
defensively great catcher.
And yesterday, or I don't know, we didn't see Game 6 because we were in Detroit, but last night, Game 7, we really didn't have to get aggressive with regards to Price, Crawford, and Upton on stealing bases. I mean, there wasn't really a lot. It didn't warrant for it. There wasn't a lot of those on-base situations where you had to push the guy along. But wow, that Navarro throw out to the other dude was great. And Manson, you're right, man. Old Pena, he was trucking around there. I'm like, man, this guy's done. And the AstroTurf scurried it up a little bit, and then it was just a little bit left. And those guys are, and those guys just know what side of the base to go on. Had he gone straight in, the guy may have gotten him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, man, Pena.
I will tell you last night, not because we won, even if had we lost, even had the Rays lost, I will tell you, I thought the home plate umpire last night probably called one of the more consistent games. Do you agree, Manson? There wasn't a lot of every time the guy would throw what he would call a ball, and I'd be like, man, it was a strike. Then they give you that
exactly.
I mean, exactly. I'm like, oh, you know what? It was a little outside.
Yeah, I did that several times. I was like, oh man, I don't know. And then they show the replay on the other angle. Go, oh, yep, he was right.
I turned to Heather like 3 different times. I'd say the F word, and I'd be like, nope, that was inside or outside, and the guy called a great game.
When he was calling people out on strikes, he had that long pause. Like the batter was already walking towards the dugout before he gave you the signal.
I tell you, the guy that scares me. I'm just so glad. I don't know who is this guy. You probably know. You know a lot about baseball, Brent. Spice, I think you do as well. But who's that guy? Big Papi just scares the crap out of me. He gets up there. He's so big, and in right field historically, it's not that far of a stroke in Trop. Who's that guy on the Phillies? Who's the Big Papi on the Chase Utley?
No, Ryan Howard, the first baseman. Ryan Howard.
Is he unbelievable?
He is a stud.
Left or right?
He is a left-handed bat. He plays first base.
Most good first basemen are lefties, are they not?
Left-handed bat, first base, and he is a stud.
Who else is? How about that Chase Utley?
Chase Utley is good.
Is he second baseman?
Yes, he is.
And who's their big whip on the closer, and who's their big whip starter wise?
Starter wise is Cole Hamels. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he's a really good pitcher for the Phillies.
Right.
And then closer, I'd have to look. I didn't see many.
Is Blanton closing?
No, Blanton's a starter. Blanton he got from the A's. Now, Blanton doesn't throw hard, but he paints the corners.
Yeah, that fat bastard gets it done.
Yeah,
now, Spice, let me ask you a question.
He paints the corners very well.
Since your guy Aubrey is in town, and on this show where we can't do.
Yeah.
Do you think we could get him in for a little,
expertise?
Yeah, a little expertise. I mean, God, you got a guy that one played for the Rays, two, one of the only bright spots of the Orioles. You think we could get him in for a morning or something like that?
Yeah, you know what? I'll try calling him today and see if we can at least get him on the phone.
Please assure him that
Nah, I got you.
Plus, tell him if you go into the superstitious type ways, that this would be considered being on the Bubba Show, although not the same one, right, Brent? It would be considered
it's the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
He's on the Bubba the Love Sponge show, albeit the PG one. And those guys are highly superstitious.
Now, the Phillies closer is a guy named Brad Lidge, who has been around for a while. 41 saves this year.
Right.
So he's
now. I don't think Percival is on the active roster. I think they took them off for prize.
I think you're right about that.
Oh, poor Percy.
Yeah.
Well,
he'll still get a ring.
I know, but it sucks. Here's this guy who went all season and really wanted to keep going and just
But knowing Percy, man. I gotta think, man, he didn't care. I wouldn't say he's kind of a man's man. He probably realizes that we're in the midst of trying to win a world championship, and I'm sure he'll get his bonus and ring respectfully. Joey from Fort Myers. God, Spice, I can't believe to tell you how many Fort Myers.
I know.
God. Joey.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Brett if he's seen that Sarah Palin thing on Saturday Night Live and what he thought about it.
I have not seen it yet. Saturday night we were in Detroit doing a show, so I didn't get to see it yet.
All the reviews were they just filleted her.
Yeah, well, Tina Fey hates her.
They just filleted her live, and she just had to stand there and take it and have a good attitude about it because there's nothing she could do.
And all the reviews of CMT, I got filleted as well. So
really,
it almost seems like she didn't know that they were making fun of her. It's like. She was sitting there, and it was like she was oblivious to it. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Now I know that a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying this, man. But I gotta think, man, that it's. I gotta think that it's a kind of a sign of desperation, man. If you're doing Saturday Night Live, 9 days or however many days prior to the election, that really takes from the validity of the office that you seek. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, and then I saw. Did you see Colin Powell? His comments yesterday?
No, I think I have them. I have them here ready to play. By the way.
Okay. Well, he listed Sarah Palin as one of the reasons he had to question John McCain's judgment.
Beth O just sent me a request. I need a picture of Brent's. I need a Brent's wife pic. Can you have Brent send me one?
Okay.
ASAP. Do you have her email?
Betho? No, I don't.
Here, let me forward it to you here.
Okay, thank you.
I guess they're doing a which is a little bit creepy in itself. JD's top women of the wedding.
Okay.
Kind of deal, and I guess supposedly they're going to talk about Heather and Brent. This is Beth's email.
Okay.
Can you help her? Which, by the way, Spice, I'm getting several emails about MJ on his afternoon drive show, the Schnit show.
Yeah.
Talking all kinds of crap about Howard.
Really?
And yeah, I mean like stuff. I mean like saying, well, hey, I got more listeners than he does, and he's virtually invisible now. And so forth and so on. And I'd like to probably dive into that. Now that we're right in the middle of, by the time we get back from commercials, we'll be right solidly in the 7 o'clock. And boy, I tell you, that's probably one person, MJ, you wouldn't want to be poking fun at, considering that I'm sure that you find it somewhat prestigious to be on, to have your, bullcrap little afternoon drive show on Sirius/XM. And, with probably one irritation of Howard, that could probably somewhat go away. So you talk about, in my opinion, Spice, crumbling from within, and a guy that's absolutely losing his mind. Now, when we first started the satellite deal back in the day, when we were on both, we really liked that. That was cool. I mean, was it not?
It was great.
I mean, the amount of phone calls we got and all that kind of things.
How can you not like that?
And we weren't getting paid for it, like he's not. But you certainly don't want it if you don't have to lose it. Why would you lose it, right?
Yeah, that would be the thinking,
right? And I mean, it makes your portfolio, makes your resume, and makes everything that you do just that much stronger. So why would you, just because you're trying to either show off or I guess you're trying to lie and bamboozle, and at the end of the day, you're being a dick at the expense of the largest personality ever to be in our business. And boy, I don't necessarily know if you know what the backside ramifications of those could be. But I will probably say you'll quickly find out.
Definitely.
Because Brent has forwarded your rhetoric and your comments towards Howard, and I'm sure he'll be making a ruling soon. I guess, Spice, he was already posturing that he thinks he's going to lose that program now that the merger went through.
Well, good. I hope he does.
Well, at least he knows his fate then, right?
Exactly.
Maybe he's smarter.
No false hope on his end.
Maybe he's smarter than we give him credit to.
Hi, this is Paul Mooney. What's the definition for exploitation? It's BubbaRaw.com.
You're listening to the Bubba Radio Network.
What's up, G4? I'm Bubba the Love Sponge. Welcome to my world.
Every avian hopeful knows that sometimes the best public exposure a porn star can get comes from being heard and not seen.
Just a lot of clitoral stimulation.
And on the bumpy and grinding road to AEE, there isn't a sweeter spot to open up on than that of a radio's last button pushers, the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Bow down to the Lord of the Blue.
We were on the scene as AVN nominees Gianna Lynn and Tegan Presley illustrated why the Bubba the Love Sponge Show has become the it spot for up-and-comers to separate themselves from the growing herd.
Some women say that they can ejaculate.
I believe in female ejaculation.
Whether it be through hearing their views on human sexuality.
I love masturbating.
What do you like to do?
I like to be on top.
Artistic expression.
Yesterday, Bubba had me do some paintings for him. Some people use brushes, some people use charcoals and pencils, and I use my body, and this is the finished product.
Or good old-fashioned genital torture. Producer Matt Spice Boy Lloyd shows us that it's their unique radio equipment that makes the show such a porn star hotspot.
This is where it all happens. Right here, we've got the stripper pole. Whenever we get the girls in here, for some reason, this is the first thing they see, and they're immediately attracted to it. Now, another thing we got back here is the wall of dildos, just in case we need a little something for one of the ladies.
On the road to AEE, being a featured guest on Bubba the Love Sponge could not only help a girl's chance at winning at the AVNs.
I didn't really know Gianna too much, but about 5 minutes in, I knew that I liked her.
It could also turn into the shock heard round the world.
You G4 guys had no idea what you're getting yourself into now, do you?
What the hell are they waiting for?
The bathroom break is over.
What the hell is he talking about?
Their hands have been disinfected, but their mouths and brains haven't.
I'm sorry about all of this.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
You got to realize she's got a limited, amount of, things to compare this sex to. I mean,
hey, don't even try me. I was phenomenal that evening.
15-year-old boy and Spice Boy.
I put on a show. I put a clinic on that night. I remember. It was a clinic.
Not according to Ragusa.
No.
How
Here's the
dare
deal.
you? I put a clinic on. I remember that night specifically, and it was so good. In fact, when you know how you have a great performance, and you always remember. It was. I put on such a great performance, and every time I passed a hotel that we had sex in, I constantly think back to that night because I was so phenomenal.
You are listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Bubba the Love Sponge Show, Bubba Radio Network, 1-888-69, Bubba, the website, btonus.com. Spice, I think that you saw her as well, Sue, from Deal or No Deal at Friday at Venue. We were celebrating, or I
saw her sister.
She, before you got there, she was there.
Okay, I didn't see her.
Saying hi. She said they were supposed to release that data today.
Oh, cool.
As to whether she won or not.
What were you celebrating?
Well, I was celebrating no kids. And it was the first Friday that my wife and I actually were, being able to, hang out and stuff. And we were celebrating Heather meeting Spice's friend for the first time. So that was kind of cool, but rave reviews on all ends.
A huge celebration.
And it was Christine Nostro's, I think, 30th birthday.
That's correct.
They were having a little 30th birthday up there in the VIP tower, so on the VIP room. So Heather and I got some sushi or something like that, whatever we ate. Of course, I don't really eat sushi. I eat redneck sushi.
What's that?
It's basically a fried grouper in the middle of a roll. That's it. Nothing else. I think Barack Obama's coming to town today.
He is.
I think.
Well, the stage is set for another campaign stop from a presidential contender. In just a few hours, Barack Obama will hold a rally right here in Tampa Bay at Steinbrenner Field, and thousands of his supporters are expected to attend. Our Karen Castillo is there right now with more.
We should send Jabberjaw, Spice, as the ultimate correspondent. Should we not?
You know what? We could.
Maybe Spice, call her up, maybe see if she could be there.
Sure.
Put her in a Bubba Army shirt and give her a flash recorder and see if Jabberjaw will go down there and say, you know what, I got fired from one radio station and a little nerd for supporting you the last time you came to Dunedin, and now I'm working for a new guy. This guy right here. By the way, Manson, they kept Fox 13 is using the bumper of was it the Improbable or the Impossible Dream banner, Spice, the one that the one that says Bubba Army on it.
I
think it's Improbable.
I saw it on TV last night.
Well, that's the bumper that they use, just going back into commercials right now.
The Improbable Dream.
Yeah, the Improbable Dream, and then it's got the Bubba Army sticker to the left.
Nice.
I love it.
I got to find that guy and take care of him with some stuff.
Good evening, Karen.
Good evening. Yes, it's 11 o'clock at night, and organizers have been here since noon. In fact, they're still. Let me show you the backdrop and show you what I'm talking about. They've been setting up lights and audio and scaffolding for the past few hours. Obama is calling this rally the Early Voting for Change rally, and it's his way of locking in those early votes.
Which, by the way, early voting starts today. Now, how does that work, Brent? Do you, if you're a registered voter, you can go down there and vote, or do you have to have gotten on the early voting roster?
No, I think if you're a registered voter, you can vote early. In 2004, that's how it worked. So,
will you find out where the early voting stations are?
Yes,
that
sir.
is the way to do it.
Yes, sir. I'll get that for you.
I'm telling you that right now. I know there's not that many of them, but it's far more simpler to go down there this week. Because I think it's open until Friday.
There's probably going to be a huge turnout this election too.
Yes.
When you were running for sheriff, I would go down and walk the early voting lines and talk to people.
Well, can you find out where the stations are?
Yep.
From this key battleground state. Early voting begins.
Spice, get a hold of Jabberjaw. If we use her, Spice, can we rename her? Or maybe we just keep. Okay, never mind. We just keep her Jabberjaw. I think that's her gimmick, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's Monday, and there's definitely no coincidence Barack Obama will be in town. ABC Action News Republican political analyst Sandra Merman says the trip is meant to lock in those votes in this key battleground state.
This is the...
And let me tell you something, man. There's no coincidence that he is picking this area to make one of his Florida appearances on the first day of early voting. There's no coincidence that he comes to Tampa, Florida, because they're saying, again, this is from MSNBC right here, and the fact that they're saying whatever Tampa or Hillsborough goes will probably be the way that Florida goes.
This year, if you want to get specific,
and it's called the Bubba Factor, my friends. Right now, man, even if you don't like our show, I actually am asking you, call me up and tell me of any other radio personality that has gone out on a limb like we have as a show and collectively endorsed Barack Obama like we have, to the point we got in trouble for it.
It's true, yeah.
And until this report came out on national television, Cox was telling me to shut up. Well, I guess he'll probably rethink it after the ratings came back. Manson, go ahead.
It's kind of proof of the Bubba Factor was this weekend in Detroit. I got up there and I, in front of 1,000 people, I did a little informal Bubba poll. I said, who's voting for Obama? And it was a huge pop. I was just curious to see, I wasn't trying to sway anybody.
No.
And I said, who's McCain? It was like... And I was like, holy crap. I guess we're influencing a lot of people.
This year, if you want to get specific about the Sunshine State, the phrase for election night may not be Florida, 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 but Tampa, Tampa, Tampa. The latest NBC News Mason-Dixon polling shows Barack Obama now up 2 in Florida. Pollsters who know about these things point to Obama's performance in the Tampa Bay area as the reason for his edge. Tampa Bay is usually a good indicator for which way the entire state will go. And in that internal poll, Senator Obama leads Senator McCain by 6, 49 to 43.
We've now since been told that's a month old, maybe even longer. We've been told that it's double digits now.
Yeah, the gap is widening every day.
Nothing's better than a widening gap, isn't that right, Spice?
Love a wide gap.
Swing area for the whole state.
Look, it's the first thing Ned said all morning.
Yeah. Widening gap.
Yeah. Wide gap, yeah. Boy, Ned was sitting up in first class yesterday, totally oblivious to what's going on. The guy's trying to help him out. Ned you just looked at him.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, he had a tray full of chips and various snacks, and he's, when they put the tray in front of you.
I thought he was trying to bait me. As soon as I took one, he was going to slap me with like a $50, bill.
You thought he was going to ply you? He was trying to ply
plus,
you?
He was a little, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Light and loafers.
It's been identified as such, and the polling keeps telling them that this is where the undecideds are. This is the area that's going to decide the election.
There's also a last-minute surge by John McCain that may have scared Obama a bit. The latest Quinnipiac poll shows the two candidates are in...
The Quinnipiac poll. Whatever that means.
That's a university.
7th game, but
the most unmasculine man of all pro football.
Do what they did against a very tough Boston team.
That's Jeff Garcia for being such a great quarterback.
Jesus Christ.
And being so manly.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. By saying,
oh, my God. Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, they had a tough defense.
Look at my girlfriend, my wife, my beard.
A virtual heat here. And while Obama is down, he'll be pulling out his biggest resource yet.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
Hillary Clinton will meet him in Orlando. ABC Action News...
He's going to run up and down that I-4 corridor, I promise you, my friend. I'll probably be in Daytona as well. I think he's going to Miami. I think he's hitting actually all the big cities. Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa.
Democrat political analyst Jim Davis says, yes, the state has become increasingly competitive, but Obama has outspent McCain 3-1 in the last few weeks.
I'm sick and tired of them saying, well, the only reason Obama's doing well is because he's outspending. Well, the reason why he's outspending, my friends, is because people are, donating money.
Yeah, if you got it, what are you going to do with it? You're going to let it sit there?
Supposed to give it back?
He thinks Obama has raised more enthusiasm in early voters.
People are looking for a very strong leader who can relate to them, who can take care of cleaning up this mess in Washington and help bring some benefits here at home.
Thanks for the
Thanks for the tip.
Tip.
Dumbass.
And this is all playing to Barack Obama's advantage right now.
But Obama is not alone in trying to appeal to the early voting crowd. John McCain's campaign announced today Senator Lieberman will represent McCain in Jacksonville Monday.
Oh, God, that's the worst person you could send to Jacksonville, my Lord. I mean, why don't you send, Condoleezza Rice or somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Joe Lieberman.
Elmer Fudd.
Some
old geezer.
Yeah.
McCain, please.
The event is at a much smaller venue, but the
of course.
theme is the same, early voting. McCain's camp also trying to get their supporters to the polls way ahead of Election Day. And the rally is here at the George Steinbrenner Stadium, formerly known as Legends Field. It all starts tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. You don't need tickets to get in, but it is first come, first.
We'll be sending Jabberjaw down there today with a Bubba Army sweatshirt or T-shirt or something like that. So we'll hopefully get a hold of her if she doesn't have a.
Yeah, she's heading down there anyway. So she's throwing on her Bubba Army shirt, and her sister's actually already down there. She's gonna be down there probably about 8:15.
Fantastic. And yet another influential person in rock and roll is. Has now officially served John McCain with a cease and desist.
Who else?
Rocker and Democratic supporter John Bon Jovi on Wednesday of last week became the latest musician to complain about Republican John McCain's presidential campaign using songs without his approval. John Bon Jovi threw a $30,000 per person fundraiser dinner for Barack Obama at his New Jersey home in September. He said he was surprised to hear that his band song, Who Says You Can't Go Home, was used during rallies held by the Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin. Now, don't you think that at the end of the day, man, that they need to, before they look stupid and do something like that, that they should actually have been given, you should go out and get permission from the music you'd want to. Because the backside bite yourself in the ass thing.
They don't vet anything.
No.
McCain campaign.
Just go with it.
Look at Joe the plumber.
We wrote
Who makes $40,000 a year?
We wrote this song as a thank you for those who have sort of supported us over the last 25 years. The song has since become a banner for our home state of New Jersey, kind of an el facto theme song for our partnerships around the country to build homes and rebuild communities. It has nothing to do with politics at all, especially this particular candidate. The rock group Heart also sent a cease and desist letter to the Republican campaign in September asking them to stop using the song Barracuda.
I mean, Hart should be happy anybody's playing their music.
The Foo Fighters also have sent McCain various correspondence along with Jackson Browne. It's like almost a cool thing to do, Brent.
Can they play any music at all?
Well, you know what? They should go talk to the Country Hair Bears because they could probably, they'd probably let them use their music.
Go to
Toby Keith.
Yeah, go to Toby Keith. And
Brooks and Dunn.
Actually, Toby Keith came out not too long ago, said if he was a Democrat, he would vote for Obama. He said he respected Obama.
And then
which
later
is
on,
shocking. I mean, you're talking about Toby Keith.
Yeah,
I saw that, and then you know what? Later on, he came back and he said he might be voting for Obama.
Tyler from Seattle. Go ahead, Tyler.
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good, Tyler. How are you?
Not too bad. Hey, second-time caller. I listened to your other situation, and just happened to get from a buddy that lives in Tampa, turned me on to the internet situation for what you have going in the morning.
We got a lot of situations going on.
You got many situations.
Because it's amazing. These radio companies are afraid that you say the other person's name for the most part, so you got to call it a situation. Whereas if they would quickly understand that you listeners are not as stupid as they think you are, and the reason why that we do as well as we do is because we're phenomenally honest with you and don't hold any bars, and we should be able to talk about our various situations freely.
Right.
Because when you call it a situation, everybody's scratching their head saying, "Oh, you mean your other show?"
You mean the other situation?
Yeah. So what do you want? So
well, hey, I was just calling first off. I'm a replay Willie. I work nights in Seattle, so I listen to replay. And I got turned on to morning and started listening. And I kind of was starting to realize like the impact you guys are really having in your area, especially considering the election going into it. And I mean, I don't think, I don't know if necessarily your local situation realizes your national situation, how much pull you really have. It's pretty incredible how big the Army goes.
I would have to agree. Last night on national television, a fine person of the Tampa Bay area had a sign that almost every television station has been using as its bumper, saying, impossible or something kind of
improbable
dream. And it's a very nice song. And then in the lower left hand corner of its sign, which would be television right, it said Bubba Army. So Again, I don't think anybody really understands our reach or our power. But I think they quickly will. I think if anybody does, I will tell you this, and I'd like for everybody to chime in on the show, that I will tell you this. Out of the two situations, we do feel more appreciated here.
Really?
Brent?
Yeah, by the people in charge.
No, not by the fans.
No, by management.
By management.
No. Let me
Absolutely.
Yes, not by fans, and not by our fellow coworkers like Howard and what have not, but by just by pure management, just by the
I'm talking about the very top,
the very, very top, and the overthinkers. We are far better treated here than we are there, by far. Which is something that really plays a lot with us.
And see, as a paying subscriber of the other situation, that makes me sad. But as a fan of your show, guys, I can understand and I can see what you're talking about. It makes sense.
Well, we have to do what's best for us and our families, and we have to do what's best and makes us feel good about coming in here every day and doing various situations for you. And it makes it tough sometimes when you get talked down to and hung up on. So you know what? Only time will tell what happens. But hey, we're here for at least another 2 years, so that's all you should really worry about, even though you live in Seattle and you listen to me on the internet.
Hey, you know what? It happens. Hey, love you guys. Hate to mark out, but I'm a mark,
It's okay, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Tyler from Seattle. Bob from Melbourne. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Bubba. If anybody's interested, you don't have to wait for the early voting. Florida passed a law a couple years ago, and you don't need to be out of town on vacation or sick, but you can go on ahead, call your local elections office, have them send you an absentee ballot. They'll get it to you within a couple of days, and you can ship that right on back to them.
So even as late as now, Brent, you can call for an absentee ballot?
Yeah, I think the deadline is the 29th on that.
Make sure I need to get that ASAP. But, Bob, thank you so very much. I will tell you this, man. It is the most efficient way to do it. It really is, because I'm not deterring anybody from voting. In fact, to the contrary, we want everybody to be out there in droves. But sometimes the lines are very long if you wait till Tuesday the 4th.
Here's the early voting locations for Pinellas.
Yeah.
Is the county courthouse, which is 315 Court Street in Clearwater, room 117.
Believe me, I've been there.
Election Service Center, 13001 Starkey Road, which is the main place. And then the county building in Central on 501 First Avenue North in St. Pete, downtown.
Let me play something a little disturbing for you. Now, Manson, you said that this would be okay, or somebody said, because it's a news story. I'm talking about the stuff in Ohio, the Al Jazeera stuff.
Yes.
And this is at a McCain rally.
Yeah, it's a McCain-Palin rally, but Palin is actually the one speaking here.
Right, and then
this rally,
and the telebonic news source,
yeah,
which is called
Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera. They had some honky cracker sounding dude going and interviewing people. I just basically asking questions. And here it is. It's somewhat disturbing, and the guy does drop the N-bomb. I will say that I find that I'm very offended by that.
But that's real life.
That's what the people in Ohio, or at least the people that attend the McCain Palin rallies, that's how they talk. That's what they think.
And
I'm not being Don Imus or trying to be racial or call black people N's or anything like that. But this is just this is a legitimate news. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily how legitimate of a news source it is, but
yeah.
It's definitely a legitimate litmus test as to the thinking, in my opinion, of these people that possibly attend these rallies. Spice, make sure Jabberjaw, really does some investigative reporter, maybe walking up to people and say, "What do you think about Bubba the Love Sponge? Do you know that he's the only major radio personality to support Barack?"
Yeah, she's going to call us as soon as she gets out there.
It's called the Bubba Factor, the whole 9 yards. Go out there. This is her first Bubba assignment.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
A small town in the swing state of Ohio is where Sarah Palin addresses some of her core supporters.
Core. That's by your own count, sir.
That's all they got left.
This area is mostly white and working class. And here's what some have to say about presidential candidate Barack Obama.
I'm afraid if he wins, the black will take over.
I'm afraid if he wins, the black will take over.
What does that even mean?
I'm afraid if he wins, the blacks will take over. Okay, well, I mean, whoa. Ned's deathly quiet on this situation.
No comment.
It's not a Christian. This is a Christian nation.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
country going to end up?
Now, let me ask you a question. He's not a Christian. This is a Christian nation. Has anybody ever stopped to think that if religion isn't really real and we're being bamboozled? Now, I'm not saying that I feel that way, but don't you think that maybe everybody for however many hundreds of years, and lately even more so, is really putting too much credence on religion? Because what happens if it's just, a Ponzi scheme? And we've been made all these knee-jerk reactions and all these knee-jerk decisions, from abortion to same-sex marriages, based on something that's not even real. I know what I was watching last night. I was watching the local news and how Amendment 2 is going to be up on as an amendment here in the Florida election, which is, gay marriages. And should people be allowed to get married or recognized to be as such, a couple with marriage benefits if you are the same sex? And they went, interviewed various people, and then they interviewed a black preacher, and then they interviewed a couple other people, very religious people. And then I got to thinking, this is what I got to thinking. So you're going to basically, under the guise of religion, that, at the end of the day, and there's still, a little bit of a jury out as to whether that's for real or not. So you're going to completely make rules that are going to affect people's lives based on religion.
That's how they think.
Because the only way you would not allow a man and a woman to get married is because in the Bible it fundamentally says that cannot happen. That just absolutely cannot and will not happen. A marriage is between a man and a woman. And so, but you're making these decisions based on the assumption that, religion is absolutely locked in stone. Ring it in. It's here. It's real. And, that's what it is. But, Manson, do you agree?
Well, yeah. But, religion is based on the fact that you have to believe that it's real and locked in stone. So what other choice do people have? If you're going to believe any religion, it's locked in stone.
Yeah, you're saying this stuff, Bubba, but at the same time, you have to kind of now question yourself.
Well, no.
Do you believe or do you not?
No, hold on. I'm not questioning myself. Please take me out of the equation. But instead, I'm talking about laws that we're going to pass that's going to forever affect everybody's lives based on something that we really don't. Take me out of it.
Yeah,
based on something that we really don't know is real or not.
I'm not a Christian. If I was a Christian, I would vote no against gay marriage. That's that's cut and dry.
But I find it, okay, let's say that I do believe, because I do. But I guess I'm really not a believer, and I guess I'm going to hell because in my opinion, I say, regardless of what the Bible says,
you can't do that.
That's number one.
I know you can't. I'm not saying that I'm right. I am not saying that my thinking's right, but I'm saying that only common sense would say that, stop telling us and stop getting in our lives and telling us what we can and cannot do, not based on what's right and what makes sense and for our people of our country to have freedoms, but instead from a scripture that we don't necessarily have, I shouldn't say proof, but we don't necessarily know that is the end-all be-all. There's, it's a slippery slope. So, yes, I guess at the end of the day, I am a hypocrite and I am not a true Christian and I'm going to hell. But I think that I am somewhat of a common sense person in the fact that, let me ask you a question.
Well, religion and common sense do not go hand in hand.
But let me ask you a question. What does it hurt, other than pissing off God? What does it hurt for a man and a man to get married, and what does it hurt for a woman and a woman to get married? Other than pissing off God, isn't that a liberty that a person should have? They're not doing anything wrong. Other than the only thing they're doing wrong is pissing off God.
Well, some people would say that would be the most important thing in the world, to not piss off God.
I do understand that. I do respect that as well. But it seems as though all we get lately, well, I don't know where this evangelical movement came from.
You got Bush and Rove to thank for that.
Okay, all right. So it almost seems like the government wants to just be these panderers and pushers of evangelism and continue through evangelism to take rights and liberties away from us. Meanwhile, we could have, if we had the right people thinking about a little bit outside of the box and not so much up God's behind, but couldn't we have the best of both worlds now, wasn't our country fundamentally built upon you have the right to worship whomever, whether that be the devil, whether that be Allah, whether that be God, whether that be from the Jewish descent, doesn't matter.
Correct.
You have the right. I don't care, Brent, if you look at a dog turd and you think that that's your Messiah. It's, you may be Baker acted, but I mean, you have the right to think that dog turd is your Messiah. So
freedom of religion.
Freedom of religion. So couldn't we have, and wasn't the foundation and the forefathers' visions for us to be able to have both, and that is a government that does not dabble in that, but gives you the right to do whatever you want with regards to worshiping whom or what you ever would think.
That's exactly right. Thomas Jefferson put it this way: there should be maintained a wall of separation between church and state.
But it seems as though that wall of separation couldn't be the further thing from the truth when you have amendments like this saying that you cannot, a man and a woman cannot be married because God in the Bible says, you give me has anybody had an educated or correct response or reasoning as to, other than religion, why a man and a woman cannot get married?
No, there is none.
Spice, do you know of any?
No.
I mean, is there an expert that, men and men cannot be together because of, well, obviously you have homosexual acts, but I mean, hey, and I'm not gay, and I'm not trying to get married to a man. I'm married to a woman, and I like it a lot. I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks, the whole 9 yards. But by the same token, I don't understand why we are making all these laws and taking a bunch of people's personal freedoms away based on something that we really, at the end of the day, until you are in the ground and I'm in the ground, we're even going to know that is real. Now, hey, when they put me and Manson and Spice and Brent and Ned and next guy in the ground, and there is something that you go to, then, I guess we're right or wrong. Maybe I'm right and Spice is right and the rest are wrong. We don't know. But I mean, I don't see how you can sit here and make all these laws and just continue to screw with people. That's all they do.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, the wall of separation between church and state was built by Halliburton, and there's a lot of holes in it. My bad.
And you said, break down that wall.
Break down that wall now.
Hey, and you know what? Just the breaking down of that particular wall was a no-bid contract.
Mission accomplished.
And then Halliburton built it, and Halliburton's going to break it down. We got triple gouged. We got quadruple gouged. We got double gouged on the subsequent bid and building of it, no bid, and then we got gouged on the no bid taken down of it as well.
It was such a crappy wall, I thought it'd be cheap to take down. Cost $1 trillion. I didn't get it. The big bill, Halliburton.
So I don't, man. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
And I'll do you one better. The 14th Amendment, which is the reason why California, Massachusetts, and Connecticut state Supreme Courts have struck that law down. You cannot apply laws to a certain amount of people and then not apply it differently to other people. You just can't do that.
Well, I mean, again, I'm watching Channel 13 last night, and they're going through the whole Amendment 2, and they got so a couple people they got a gay couple. They got a woman and a woman, and nice looking, and the woman has a kid from a marriage, and she has since found out that she wants to be gay and marry another woman. Looks like a pretty good woman, but of course she can't do that. She's taboo and what have not, because then they bring in like 5 or 6 of these religious nuts and saying, it says, and then one woman, old as the day, is about 72 years old, and they go, well, why, ma'am? Why shouldn't a man and a man or a woman and a woman? Well, because my pastor says that in the Bible, the Lord Jesus Christ, God, whomever, says that a marriage is between a man and a woman. How stupid are we going to feel now? Hey, I'm not saying this to say that this is the way it is, but how stupid are we going to feel when You die, and you find out there really is nothing out there. You're just dead.
One of my favorite South Park episodes.
Like, holy crap! I just, for years I feel like an idiot. I don't even. But see, I think the reason why they're allowed to do this is because if you really are dead and there is nothing on the backside, then you can't even have that conversation to yourself.
Nope.
Because you're dead. So you can't even say while you're dead, God, I'm a jackass for so many years believing this stuff because you're dead.
You finally figured it out.
One of my favorite South Park episodes is they're in hell. Everybody's in hell, and they're all going there, and the guy's checking everybody in. And
checking everybody into hell?
Checking everybody into hell. And the crowd's going, but we were Christians. We went to church every Sunday. And he goes, we're sorry. The correct answer was Buddha. Yep, the correct answer was Buddha. You guessed wrong.
Keith from Tampa. Hi, Keith.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy.
I just want to comment on what you guys are talking about now. I work at Borders, and it's a pretty liberal company. I work with a lot of gay people, a lot of gay friends. And, I agree. I don't think that laws should be made based on religion. We're a country built on basic morals and basic values. We're not...
No, but they're turning it around quickly. That we're a country that's built on top of the Bible. It's ridiculous. And you know what? I believe in it. But I guess at the end of the day, I'm not a very good believer. If I'm even having this discussion in itself on my show, that means I'm the devil and I'm going to.
Now, what does your pastor think about this? I mean, if he were to listen right now,
I don't. First of all, my pastor Walter Braun is the best, and he wouldn't try to tell me what to say and what to believe.
No, I'm not asking that. I'm thinking. Do you think he's listening to the radio going, God, he doesn't get it? Or do you think he's going, no, well, maybe he gets it?
I think that he probably is doing a little bit of both, knowing him. I've gone to lunch with Walter before, and Brent, I've asked him about Noah's Ark, like you told me to ask him about the dinosaurs.
Right.
And you know what he says?
What?
I think you'd like his answer. He goes, you know what? Sometimes you got to use common sense in interpreting the Bible.
So some parts may be true, some parts maybe not, like the part about Jesus being your Savior may or may not be.
I didn't get into that. It's my pastor. I'm not going to start busting balls.
I just asked about the big boat.
I asked him about what?
I asked him about the big boat. I said, is it a Donzi? Was it a Titanic situation where it all went down?
Shut up, Spice. But I think Spice, to answer your question, I think he'd be like, probably somewhat disappointed that I'm saying this, but he's not going to tell me to stop, and he's not going to look down upon me because I'm asking some.
So does he think you're going to heaven?
No, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't. He probably thinks I'm very. Well, you know what? Hold on. He probably thinks the same thing you guys think, that I got issues. There's probably one thing, Brent, you have. There's probably one thing, Brent, that there's two things that you have in common with my pastor, Walter Drawn.
Okay.
One, he loves college football.
Yeah, he's an SEC football fan.
And take God out of the mix. You and him could talk SEC football all day, and I think he hates Auburn.
He does hate Auburn,
just like you do. So there you go. And the other thing that you guys have in common is I think that he would appreciate you and your views and your valid and your points, and he wouldn't try to change you.
No, he doesn't strike me as that.
He wouldn't try to change you at all.
No, he's a good guy. I've had a conversation with him before. He's actually not a bad guy.
That's why I go there. It's St. Pete Baptist right there on Gandy, that real big place. On the left-hand side, right before you get to 275, because the pastor, man, he's an old-timer, and he's like a man's man kind of guy. I love the guy. But Spice, I'm thinking he thinks that I got issues. Big-time issues. Which I do. Which we all do, man.
Oh, totally. I think anybody in radio has issues.
Daryl from MJ has got some ton of issues. He's going to have more. In fact, by the way, I completely did not get into that segment. I'll get into there. I just like stringing him along, Brent. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I really like making him my bitch. This is Daryl from Mulberry. Daryl, hi.
Hey, yes, I do consider myself a Christian, and I believe that ceremonial marriage is between a man and a woman. However, I'm voting no on Amendment 2 because I don't believe that you could take the civil rights away from anybody. Just not too long ago, 30, 40 years ago, the church was trying to vote that interracial marriages were illegal. I'm married to a black woman, and I'm a white man.
It's pretty steamy myself. Brent Hatley just went to a big-time Daryl from Mulberry supporter.
Yeah,
He's like,
definitely.
Man, I got a white guy that's hooked up with a hot black chick. Nice.
Yeah, that law was called miscegenation, and across the Southeast, it was not, you were not allowed to marry outside your race.
And Bubba, real quick, I want to let you know too.
Now, where does it say in the Bible? Where does it say in the Bible?
Your commercials, I flipped to 93.
Right.
And they had said that somebody signed MJ up for some Obama alerts.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's getting Obama updates on his cell phone.
No, he's lying. He signed himself. He wants to. At the end of the day, man, he would like to be on. He can't win nothing around here, and he tries to be like me. So he's just trying to be like me. That's the bottom line.
He's in the closet. I think he's in the closet Democrat.
I think he's in the closet. A lot of things, my friend. Thank you, Daryl from Mulberry. Now, Brent, let me ask you a question. So when they made it illegal back in the day for blacks and whites to be married, right?
Sure.
When it was illegal.
Yep.
Where does it say in the Bible that you're not supposed to? Where does it say in the Bible that blacks can't marry whites and vice versa?
It does not.
Okay, then. So how can you have a law that states that blacks can't marry whites if in the Bible, which is, everybody wants to hang their hat on that deal when it comes to making laws. It doesn't say that, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Well, there you go. Alexis from Jacksonville. Hi.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
You know what drives me crazy about this, the gay marriage proposal? I'm all for gay marriage. The wording of it for the people that want to pass it, that say it's between one man and one woman, they make it about, do you approve of gay marriage? But then it's yes if you're against it and no if you're for it.
They do that. They do that so much. I don't usually, when I want to vote for an amendment, I usually don't know which one I'm supposed to say. Like
it's worded very strange.
And I think they do that, Manson, so that it won't pass.
Yeah,
that's exactly
they make it
why
very
they
cumbersome.
They should say, should gays be able to get married? Yes
or no?
Or no.
Yep.
Period.
And for the really stupid people, they should just have little pictures on the ballot.
A guy, having sex with a woman and a guy having sex with a guy. Is this okay or is that okay? Or do you not care? You're a sick freak. I love you, honey. Thank you. Kevin from Tampa. Hi.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Good.
Hey, the only thing I got to say is I'm not either for it or against it. The only thing is, as a married man myself and is working hard in a marriage, the people who are legitimately gay, then that's fine. But the ones who every other week they want to go with the fad, I'm going to be gay this week or I'll be straight next week. That just seems like a slap in the face to hard married couples, hard-working married couples who have families to raise.
Hey, Kevin, what does it matter?
It's not a slap in the face to me. I could care less what they
Manson,
do.
go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm sick of these because, last week I went out and I went, you know what, I'm going to go hang out with some guys and have sex.
Right.
But next week I'm going to be straight. So many people do that.
Yeah.
It's all the rage on the street. People just being gay one week and straight the next. This guy's out of his mind.
Ned said, don't sit here and be quite the
judge lest not ye be judged is what I always say.
John from Tampa. Hi.
Hey, Bubba. I love you guys. Love the show. Hey, listen, a couple things. I just wanted to say thanks for hooking me up with Dr. Mark. Got in there right away. I talked to you guys about a week ago. Got an appointment, testosterone check, and got some free samples. And the other thing was, I forgot. I'd be quite honest with you now. But I just want to say thanks to you guys. And Dr. Mark said that, to give him a plug on the radio. The other thing was, Brent, I've never voted in my life, and thanks to your input this year, I'm voting Obama, first time ever.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. By the way, go to the website, btls.com. And I think they're all done now, right, Brent?
Yes, they are. And I'm going to be adding some more of the fringe counties as I get to them.
Okay.
But all the main ones we promised are done.
Go to btls.com, and you'll be able to go to where it says Shock the Vote. I think there's a picture of Barack Obama talking to Senator Joe Biden. Click on right there, find your county, click on that, and print it, and you can literally take that to the polls as you are making your selections for who you want to vote for. Here is the story out of Ohio.
A small town in the swing state of Ohio is where Sarah Palin addresses some of her core supporters. This area is mostly white and working class. And here's what some have to say about presidential candidate Barack Obama.
I'm afraid if he wins, the black will take over. It's not a Christian. This is a Christian nation. What is our country going to end up like?
What's it going to end up like? Where are we right now?
Yeah.
Who cares what it ends up like? It's got to be better. What we end up like can't be any worse than this.
Right.
Got a Negro running for president. You need a first stringer. He's definitely a second stringer.
He seems like a sheep or a wolf in sheep's clothing, to be honest with you. And I believe Palin.
Now you watch. Barack Obama's going to win Ohio.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's filled with the whole.
It's really. I mean, for a while, Florida was a toss-up. I think this is clearly going to go Barack Obama. For the longest time, Michigan was a toss-up. That's locked in. In fact, McCain pulled all of his resources out. And I heard, he's got a 7 or 8 point lead in Pennsylvania?
Yes. It's widening to double digits right now.
Well, initially, the 5 ended up being Pennsylvania. I think it was the 4. The 5 ended up being Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, Michigan.
Yep. Michigan,
I think
and
3 and 4 are not even being challenged.
Yeah, Michigan and Pennsylvania are off. And now Indiana and West Virginia yesterday got moved into the toss-up column.
Holy Spirit, and I believe she's going to bring honesty and integrity to the White House.
He's related to a known terrorist, for one.
He's related
to a terrorist.
He's related to a known terrorist, for one.
Which is not true, none of it.
He is friends with a terrorist of this country.
He must support terrorists. You know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. And that, to me, is Obama.
Just the whole the Muslim thing and everything. I mean, everybody's still kind of, a lot of people have forgotten about 9/11, but I
think for the first time in our lives, people are actually, they're actually doing the research, because if you listen to all this stuff and this propaganda that the right wing and the Glenn Becks and the Schnitz and the Rush Limbaughs and the Sean Hannitys and all that stuff, if you listen to it and you just, then Barack Obama wouldn't have a chance in hell.
True.
He wouldn't. But finally, man, I think people are actually, which is they're to be commended, people are actually going out and listening to their candidate and reading up on it and watching the 60 Minutes pieces and watching the unbiased reporting and Googling, and saying, about the unpatriotic pin, and they didn't put his hand on his chest during the national anthem and all this sort of thing. But Manson, I think for the first time that, people are actually, because, Barack Obama wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell if people didn't do their research.
Yeah, because people are fed up.
No, it's just kind of.
And it took us being in the druthers that we are now to finally be fed up and to roll our sleeves up and say, we've got to pay attention and not just believe everything that we hear.
On the internet.
On the internet. Effing Al Gore invented it.
A little unnerving.
Obama and his wife, I'm concerned that they could be anti-white, that he might hide that.
I don't like the fact that he thinks us white people are trash. Because we're not.
Hey!
You are.
No. Where has he ever? No, hey,
imagine if he'd have said that.
Yeah.
His campaign would have been over months ago.
Right. I think white people are trash.
But that lady's so stupid. Somebody came up to her and said, "Hey,
did you
Obama said white people are trash," and
no
she
way.
just believed it right there.
Are you serious?
There's no telling her otherwise.
What'd you really hear? Tell me what you heard.
Hey.
Yeah.
I heard Obama say white people are trash.
I'm white.
Well, you know what he thinks of you then. You trash.
What an N.
Yeah, you know damn well that came out of her mouth.
Taylor and his friends lined the road leading to the rally to show their support for Barack Obama.
Hey, women's rights! Their body, their choice.
Baby killer. Call it what you want. It's baby killer.
Taylor is from St. Clairsville and is shocked by the names he's been called by his own neighbors.
I've been called the N-word. I've been called a Muslim. I've been called a un-American. I'm worried with these people. The tension's getting thicker and thicker. When people like that, it's starting to scare me.
Worried about what?
Be specific. I'm afraid some of these people might try to hurt Obama.
The divisive nature of this campaign has brought out into the open what's usually discussed behind closed doors in America.
I didn't hear the N-word.
Yeah, it was earlier.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that hate and fear are still powerful forces in American society. Casey Kaufman, Al Jazeera, in Eastern Ohio.
Mike from Sarasota. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Bubba?
Good, sir.
I'm a retired federal criminal defense attorney. I play with my horses now, but I've got a comment about all these morons that try to pass constitutional amendments to limit the rights of the people. As a document, in principle, a constitution is designed to define and limit the powers of government and preserve the rights of the people. So all these morons that are trying to pass constitutional amendments to restrict the activities of the citizenry are trying to make apple juice out of cranberries. And it's just insane.
True.
The problem is that a lot of people don't understand why we have a constitution and why we have laws. They are different. And if a law doesn't pass constitutional muster, it gets struck down by the higher courts. That's their function.
So do you agree with me in the fact that, do you agree with me, Mike, in the fact that it seems like, I don't know where this evangelical movement came, probably after Clinton, but it seems as though, and you would probably know firsthand, is that we are just passing laws after laws, all under the guise of the Bible, and it just seems like people's liberties. Now, I'm not talking about, we're going to legalize prostitution tomorrow because women should be able to screw for money, and we're going to legalize, mainlining heroin because the drug dealer should be out and be able to go out and make a living in a capitalistic society. Obviously, those are no-brainers, but it seems as though that a lot of personal liberties and a lot of liberties are being taken away all based on religion, and I don't think that that's the way it's supposed to be going.
Absolutely, and one of the founding principles of this country is that you have an absolute constitutional right to be completely wrong. That's the beautiful part of our country. And the fact that people are attempting to impose their morality on you via legislation or constitutional amendment actually is anthemic to the founding principles of this nation. And you can believe anything you want, and until it starts hurting somebody else, we as a society / laws shouldn't get involved.
And Mike, gay marriage, the passing or non-passing of this has nothing to do with my life. I could care less.
Exactly right. If you're not going to make me marry one, why do I care?
Right, I don't care. I don't think that it puts a detrimental to our society at all. But to me, it just seems like it's more government telling me what people can and cannot do, all while it's not.
And based on a theoretical religious premise.
Yeah, based on something that absolutely, sir, based on something that's theoretical at best.
At best. And, like I said, they're misusing the Constitution. They tried it with the 18th Amendment when they passed the Prohibition, and then they repealed it with the 21st. But the fact of the matter is they were imposing laws on people with an instrument that was designed to protect their rights. And That's like using a truck to, take my horses down to the barn. It's just stupid. They can walk.
It's refreshing, Brent, to talk to a man like this, former defense attorney, federal, that gets it. It's so refreshing.
It is. It makes
really
you feel better about people.
Mike, it makes us feel better about it puts a Band-Aid on our feelings. Mike, man, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your input. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, right on. Love your show, man.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
buddy. Thank you. I'm real late, Spice. I'm not even done my 7:30. Let me get that out of the way now, and then I'll get into the MJ stuff a little bit next, if it's okay with you.
Just to inform you, the side effects will begin to appear in a few months.
There's subplots and there's other things going on.
We will return to the Bubba the Love Sponge show after this.
My new computer started out fast, really fast, but now it's only kind of fast.
Hold on, let me check my email. It's not loading. Let me try this again.
If your PC doesn't run like it's supposed to, if your internet connection is unreliable, even on a so-called fast connection, even if your brand new computer isn't as fast as it ought to be, you might not have any real problem at all. FinallyFast.com free performance test will immediately diagnose any hidden problems and show you how to get more speed on any computer. Plus, FinallyFast.com provides you the software you need to get your computer up to peak performance by getting rid of all the nasty junk files, spyware, adware, and registry errors that make even the best computers freeze and crash. Find out why Ascentive has been featured in Newsweek, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal. You could save hundreds, even thousands of dollars by taking the Finally Fast performance test first.
I'm booted up. What's that URL I should look at? FinallyFast.com. Hey, my computer's fast. Finally. FinallyFast.com.
Listen up, Hulkamaniacs! I'm back, Jack!
One of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, Hulk Hogan, is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. TNA Wrestling, live on Spike TV.
Hi, this is Captain Jonathan up, the Deadliest Catch. Get all your Bubba gear now at BubbaArmy.com.
This is the Bubba the Love Sponge show. A little Bubba never hurt anyone, and a lot of Bubba is always better.
Absolutely.
Download all your favorite bits and breaks now at iTunes, FYE, Yahoo Music, Napster, Rhapsody, and Amazon.com. Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Look at this Mexican. Like, they get into a starting block before they come across before they come across the border, they get into a starting block.
Like he's Jesse Owens down there.
Car noise.
Manson, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here comes
He's
this
coming.
Mexican. Don't forget to give the INS guy 2 birds. There you go. Look at him go.
Oh, the barbed wire.
Be careful on the barbed wire.
On the barbed
Be careful on the barbed wire. And he kissed the ground.
Wow.
He kissed the ground. There we go.
Oh,
He's got to keep running.
Going. He just kept going. All right, you can slow down, buddy.
You are listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
The Jabberjaw situation, Jabberjaw wanted a day off, told Joey didn't tell me she was going to the Obama rally, and I have no issue with that. The problem really stemmed from the fact that Joey...
I interrupt this special... whatever. This nerd to let you know that... boy, how things quickly change because Jabberjaw is now going to the Barack Obama rally here in Tampa with the Bubba Army sweatshirt on, and
we're happy to have her go.
And we're happy to have her go, and she won't be messed with and screwed with and subsequently possibly fired or not fired for going. Boy, it's just karma's a bitch, ain't it?
It really is. Made up a story that she had a migraine, and then they were going to spring a bit on me the next day. Hey, no, she didn't have a migraine. She went to the Obama rally. But I didn't know that. So then I found out that she didn't have a migraine. She went to the Obama rally. And
I'm going to get into my MJ stuff next. I think we should. Well, I mean, should we get in? Yeah, because I got two things with him: the Howard stuff, and then the ratings, possibly.
Yep. I wish we were going. I'd let her wear an Obama T-shirt in here like every day. She wore an Obama T-shirt. I never told her to take it off. So you want a personal day? Anybody wants a personal day? The whole crew will attest to the fact. You ask for a personal day, you can have a personal. It's no issue. It's fine. So we call her up, and the real problem stemmed from the fact that she was supposed to come to me. We just had.
Brent, I'm on the election deal. I want to the general election, right?
Yes.
11-4, right?
Yep.
All right.
A conversation about, Jay, let me in on everything. Let me know what you're doing. I literally just had a conversation with her, like, I don't know, a couple days earlier. Maybe a week earlier, and she didn't come to me. It's like, we just had this conversation. So that's really what happened. I got angry, and on the phone I said, you're fired. I fired everyone on the show. She wasn't fired. It was just a joke on the air. Anyway, we spoke later.
Oh, it's a joke on the air.
Now.
After Bubba shoves it back up your ass, buddy.
She came in the next morning after the show. That was Thursday morning. Everything was patched up. I said that I'm working towards getting her a full-time job, giving her...
Which is a lie.
Right.
More money right away. Giving her more cash right away.
Cash.
And Thursday at 10:45, she walks out of the studio. Everything's fine. She's going to be here Friday morning. Everything's good. She's on her road to more cash. And then Friday, she doesn't show up for a job. And she goes on a different radio station spreading all kinds of lies and slander. And that's it.
He's so quick to throw that slander deal, isn't he?
I was just thinking the same thing. Everything's slander.
Slander, liable.
It's not slander if it's the truth, and she saw stuff.
That is exactly what happened. And anything else you hear is a fabrication.
Anything else you hear is a fabrication.
There are individuals that are trying to discredit me, discredit the show by.
Boy, I'll tell you, and we've done quite a good job. If you look at the latest Arbitron that came back on Friday, whoa, he cannot be happy. He's got to be freaked out.
Just continuous slander, and that's going to be addressed, and it has been addressed. Right, and some things are very frustrating for people. All right, so that's the whole Jabberjaw story in about a minute and a half. That's it. The whole truth, nothing but the truth.
You sure about that? Jabberjaw made the announcement on my show Friday that she's indeed not suing MJ. She's got other plans for him.
And stabbed us all in the face. Stabbed us in the back after we thought everything was patched up and fine.
Would you get stabbed in the back or the face? Because the face would be better for you.
So, there you go. For the early crowd, that's the jab situation. All right, quick break. Back in a minute, folks. It's the MJ Radio Network.
And here's... Oh, yeah, Spice. I'm going to see if I can call over there. I know I'll get right through. See if MJ wants to talk about the ratings today, okay? That came out on Friday. Probably the standard on hold deal, like he always does. Yep, hold. Promise you that. Hold it up, Willie. Now, we're actually sending Jabber, as we speak, Spice, to the Barack Obama rally, are we not?
That's right.
With a camera crew.
Yep, Mark Anthony's following her out there.
Jim Clearwater. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Bubba. Long-time listener, man. First-time caller. You guys got the best show in the world.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make a comment about that religion stuff, basing laws on religion. And they might as well base laws on Dr. Seuss, as far as I'm concerned. But if we start basing all our laws on religion, then we're going to be no better than Afghanistan.
Exactly right.
I 100% agree, my friend. To the emails this morning, which, by the way, Brent, I forgot to do my thing. Open up the show today. I forgot to open up the show today because I was shot out of a cannon about being mad at Big Dick. I'm sure he's mad at me for being mad at him. Let me see. Yeah, okay, here. 41. Right now, currently, our total is 3641.
That's nice.
3641. And Spice, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm trying to work on that one particular situation that you mentioned to me. Trying to slow down a little bit, and have you noticed it or not? Probably not, because you're being mean to me. Brent, have you noticed it?
I've noticed that. They're just whatever I say. They're laughing.
You've noticed it what?
I've noticed, yes, that you've slowed down. Yes,
trying to. Ned?
Yes. I'm trying to slow down as well.
Yeah. I got a ton of emails, especially. I didn't get to any emails on Friday, so let me get to those. A ton of audio to play, including a kind of a little montage with the Rays. Where do I find your voting recommendations by county? I've been looking. Go to the website, btls.com, click on Shock the Vote, one of the 4 or 5 rotators there, and then find your county and print it right on out. I'm another one of those women listeners. I'm 40-something. A mother of 2 teenagers. I work in the Pinellas County criminal justice system. I don't even turn the radio on in the morning or afternoons except to surf to try to find a traffic report. I may not always agree or disagree with what you have to say, but I have now turned my radio to the bone in my house and in my car. I look forward to my drive in the morning, and I'm sure that I look like a nut sometimes driving down the road laughing my ass off. Alone in the car. I love your show. Thank you, Debbie. Well, thank you, Debbie. Brent, there's another female. Keep that.
Yes, sir.
I'm in the top. Hold on here. In the top of the 9th, I saw a sign that said "The Improbable Dream," and on the right-hand side there was a Bubba Army sticker. I thought it was cool. Spice is trying to find that guy and reward him as such. I'm sorry, the guy who had the sticker or the sign. I guess we'll be able to see because we'll have a visual picture. A guy couldn't bamboozle us that easy. I love the show, but switch between you guys and the Morning X in the morning. Fisher and Boy.
That's right, Fish.
Cannot stand MJ. Never could. Finally got my wife to see the light, and now she listens to your guys' show. I know you're spending a ton of money on lawyers, but I think you should take the best Photoshop pic and create a billboard showing you as number 1 and him number 2. I don't know if you know or not, but I was tuning into his afternoon drive show, and he called Howard Stern out by saying he has more listeners on one AM channel than Howard has on his entire satellite spectrum.
Bad move.
Not just that, it's just
incorrect information.
It's just stupid.
It's a fabrication.
First of all, I'd like to say that I'm a huge fan of yours since the Power Pig days. I'm a 28-year-old professional female who recently, when I changed jobs, had to commute for over an hour to work every day, and I was devastated when Clear Channel fired you for all those years, and you are my reason my fiance and I got satellite. I was beside myself with joy when I heard that you're going to be back in the morning. I've never been able to stomach listening to the no-talent ass clown midget, but my coworkers used to listen to him, and I can honestly say that I would have rather been subjected to a group of children banging on pots and pans for 2 hours than listen to him carry on a conversation about nothing and talking to his wife about the dinner at Burns Steakhouse. I don't go to Burns. Can't afford it. I used to complain that I actually felt my IQ was dropping as I was listening to him, and this arrogant gas bag needs to be put in his place. And then, walleye, you come along. Holy crap.
Or walleye.
Well,
walleye.
Talking about fishing, the walleye type deal. I can't help how this woman wrote it, okay? She wrote it a walleye, okay? He can sue anybody and anyone But who says something, blah, blah, blah. Vicky, age 28 from Clearwater. Hi, Bubba. While flipping around in the morning dial, during a commercial yesterday, October 16th, I tuned into the Schnitt Show around 5:30, and I heard MJ talking about something you might find interesting. He played a clip from a rally in which I think Sarah Palin was speaking, and she spoke about Obama. Some in the crowd started yelling, "Kill him, kill him." Apparently, this was perceived as a threat against Obama, and perhaps it was looked into by the Secret Service. I don't know. Well, MJ then played the clip and pretty much said that the threat wasn't real, which he needed to do responsibly, and they didn't mean to actually kill him. They meant just to murder him on Election Day. Please find this audio of him and keep it for your records. Just as MJ said yesterday, some of the things you may have said about him were taking too literal. If I was to take what he said literally about killing Obama, obviously there'd be a problem. I somewhat agree, don't you, Brent?
Definitely.
Bubba and crew, first of all, I'd like to say that I enjoy your fast-paced, compelling show. Spicy said fast-paced in there, buddy. I am also not fond of MJ. Personal experience similar to many that have already called your show. But I was driving home yesterday, Thursday, 10/16, about 4:15 in the afternoon, and I heard him on his afternoon drive show calling Howard Stern invisible, and that his move to satellite radio has not been successful, and also saying that he/MJ now had more listeners than Howard.
He's delusional.
What a liar.
Oh.
Keep that, Brent, as well. Make sure Mr. Greenstein gets it.
Sure.
Yesterday, around 4:15 p.m. on the Todd Schnitt Show, MJ played actual clips of Howard Stern. He sent one of the crew to Harlem to interview people using Obama's name, and the facts about McCain and his campaign. It was actually quite funny. Before he played the bit, he said that he had a larger audience than Howard does, and that Howard doesn't even have 1 million listeners, and that Howard is invisible in a mocking way that only MJ can pull off. I'm sure Howard does not care, but I'm sure that you may have some fun with this, as after all, don't you work for him directly?
Yep, and that was a bit that was created by Sal, who might be one of the biggest racists I know.
I am a 48-year-old female that switched to your show. I've worked in the construction industry for 30 years, and being a female in the industry, I've experienced many roadblocks, discrimination, and have traveled a road where I just had to suck it up and work 3 times as hard to show that I could do it. I have to keep my mouth shut and take it and work harder than the rest of the men. Thank you so much for sticking up for Jabberjaw and what has happened to her with the MJ situation. I listened to MJ the day of the firing happened, and I was furious. This is a young woman working just as hard as everybody else on the team, has been there for a while, but has always handed the short end of the stick with hours, pay, health benefits, and such. Young women in the industries that aren't used to women working in them need to have a mentor instead of putting them down and destroying them. That scares of being put down and ridiculed. The scares of being put down or ridiculed will last forever with this young gal. MJ needs to pray that that someday when his daughter is old enough to work, that somebody doesn't treat her the way he treated Jabberjaw. That's a pretty damn good point right there.
Very good point.
What if, Manson, you have a daughter, and what if MJ's daughter, Chloe, was being treated the way that he treated Jabberjaw? And that's the first time somebody's brought that up.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty interesting. Of course, Chloe probably won't have to work because,
silver spoon.
Exactly. Good morning, guys. I just wanted to thank you, but this comes from Christy. I just wanted to thank you for taking my call and allowing me to get my frustrations out over the Oompa Loompa reject out there. It kills me that he runs his alligator mouth about other people in such vicarious manners, yet you call him a midget with pubic hair, and he whines like a little bitch and goes legal instead of taking it like a man. As I said, he is realizing how much he effed up now, as I think that your little Arbitron situation's working out quite nicely for you. Well, you're right. Our little, she called it a little Arbitron situation. You've got yourself another listener, a former MJ listener nonetheless. I listened to MJ the past year plus, and there really wasn't much to listen to. So I'm glad that I walked through the warehouse at my job yesterday and heard you talking about this whole ordeal, and I heard a song called Pushy Schnitt. I stopped my fellow coworker, listened, and laughed. I've never heard anybody be so scared to be made fun of in my life. Honestly, someone needs to grow some nads. Thank you, Aaron. Woman. She Ned, she liked the Pussy Snitch song.
That's cool.
Hey, buddy, Wes sent me in an email describing my experience with MJ at AMC movie theaters when I was an assistant manager there in high school. Just let you know that I have a ton of stories, actually, and I would be happy to tell you my experience live on air. Brent, that's got him mad.
It's kind of like Warren Sapp. Everybody's got a bad Warren Sapp story. Everybody's got a bad MJ Kelly story.
I'm going to chime in with the rest of the ladies, but not only is Spice hot, so are you, Bubba. Oh, thank you. I was lucky enough to meet you in Pinellas Park at the Super Walmart back in June. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Kim.
I just wanted to let you know that you're doing a fantastic job. My mom, age 52, fiance, 20. My mom, age 52, my fiance, 22, and myself, 21-year-old female, all listen to you in the morning and talk about you every day at work. I think you are hilarious about all the MJ crap, even though I used to listen to him. When you first got on the air, we would switch during commercials, but after you started a while to pick things up, we don't even flip. We keep it here the entire time. Thank you, Rachel from Largo. And, Clear Channel, if you think that I'm lying about these emails from women, just check the very same book that we got on Friday and get back to me. And, usually, Spice, I think that's the gauge we always... These emails and the immediacy of finding the data that people can get back to you is usually about 3 months ahead of that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Ish, right? So, because obviously you can hear something on the air now and you can blast off an email and we'll get it in, by tomorrow.
Exactly.
By tomorrow's show. That is as immediate as you can get it. And Spice, because he did the critical mass stuff and stuff, it's about 3 months for the in-house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bubba, I'm not a McCain supporter. So what I'm trying to say to you guys now in Clear Channel is if we've, which kind of makes sense because we're starting to get the early fringe of the Jabberjaw meltdown, which would be this last monthly of this book.
That's right.
Bubba, I'm not a McCain supporter, so what I'm saying is not politically motivated. I think that it's reckless and irresponsible for you to call Sarah Palin kid a retard, and that a mother with her child is somehow exploiting it by showing it in public. Those remarks are insensitive and really demonstrate your inability to be objective about issues, and also your cruel and arrogant view, and ignorant view, I should say, of children with disabilities. I love your sense of humor and your attacks on MJ, but I think you've gone a little too far. Well, I actually think that I got into that on Friday and told you that if I, offended you ladies out there, that I'm sorry. But I am still going to stand by my stance, and my belief is that I think that she is. Manson had talked about that if his wife had a special needs child at the age of 45 or 46. That she probably would not be going on the road of being the candidate of the Vice President of the United States of America in lieu of having to raise this kid.
Yeah, Donna, she's basically offended by Sarah Palin's candidacy. I mean, and every time she sees a picture of her with a kid, she's like, "Oh, come on, that's a prop." As soon as that picture's done, it goes right back to the nanny.
Exactly. Well, you know what? She doesn't even do. She gives it to like the 8-year-old. Doesn't she?
That's a white trash nanny right there.
Yeah. Hello, but I mean, even my mom, a lifelong Republican, 62 years old, she thinks that this Sarah Palin woman is just using this kid as a photo op because the kid does not need to be, it's a special needs kid, yes, and that special needs kid needs to be at home and comfortable and not on the road, living hotel to hotel, being handled and being touched and pawned off, and let's take a picture now and let's make sure that she's holding it here. No, let her be a mom and let her be the governor of Alaska where she lives at home. And again, my mom even thinks that.
Yeah, the road is hard on adults that choose to go do that.
Yeah. I mean, we go away for the weekend in Detroit and the road's hard. I mean, we're gone for 2 days and I don't have my bearings about me yet.
So imagine being a child and having to endure that.
Hello, my fiance is obsessed with Bubba Army and all you do on the show. He even made me take one of our pre-wedding photos with a Bubba Army sticker in the background. Well, that guy's crazy. He mentioned something about Artie Lang coming to Tampa. Do you have any information about this? Actually, Artie was supposed to be in Tampa here soon.
December 12th. It got rescheduled to mid-March.
Yeah, but he is coming.
Yep, Ruth Eckerd
Hall. First, I will preface this by saying I used to absolutely, and then it's huge words, hate you. You were vile and you're degrading to women. You still may be on your afternoon drive show occasionally, but I don't listen to that show. I absolutely love your morning show. The mix of information is refreshing. Of course, when you were gone, I listened to MJ due to the lack of choices I had out there every day, and he would consistently irritate me by either being arrogant, disrespectful, bossy. With all that being said, I need to ask you to clarify something for me. Earlier this week, you made mention that you would not like your wife going on Dancing with the Stars due to the closeness with the other people. Your wife is probably very secure with herself, and most of us as mature women are. But can you please explain the difference with your feelings on that, and how your website is set up, showing strippers and dancers and what have not? I personally don't care about these portrayals until you brought up the subject. Thank you for all that you and your team do. Heather from Newport Richie. Well, see, I'm not an overly zealous kind of guy, or I should say jealous kind of guy. But I don't know if I'd want my wife doing Dancing with the Stars, just because I think the whole thing is very sexually suggestive.
Yeah, anytime you put your woman in close proximity to a man, scrubbing genitalia for weeks at a time and hanging out and practicing and doing all that stuff, it just can't make for a good situation.
10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Come on.
And not only that, but I mean,
that's 10 hours a game this guy's throwing at your woman every day.
Every day. And you know what?
Sprinkling salt on you.
And he's in total tip-top shape, and he can dance, and he's suave.
So, I mean, maybe it is a little bit of a jealousy thing. I don't know. But, I mean...
Common sense.
I got to think that a lot.
Nothing's good is going to come from it.
I think our good friend Howard Stern, as a matter of fact, we've mentioned him a lot today. Him and his fiance, which is now his wife, had this discussion. And Howard he's very secure in his skin. He's good at what he does. He's very successful. And he had a hard time with it because Dancing with the Stars asked Beth to do it. And I think, didn't he have a hard time with it?
Yeah, he didn't tell her not to do it, but you could tell by the tone of his voice that he didn't want.
Here's the deal,
Spice.
That dancing in itself is very... very grinded.
Hell yeah!
I mean, that's the kind of dancing they do.
And this dildo's gonna be dancing with your woman for hours and hours and hours, and a chance for him to just
Meanwhile, I'm not
brainwash her.
I'm not going to be able to take off work and be out there every minute, and I wouldn't want to be out there every minute, being at every training session, because that in itself makes me look like a nut job. But then again, you're right. Like Manson said, they're together 10 hours or so a day. I mean. Only human nature would have it that, something. Plus, Spice doesn't.
Why put yourself in that situation?
Don't they have hasn't there been like 4?
Yeah, like one at least every season breaks up a relationship.
How can I buy some old Bubba CDs from back in the day in the 90s? I don't think you can actually buy the physical CDs, but you can go to all the,
iTunes has them.
Yeah. Just wanted to say that I love you. I used to be a longtime listener of MJ, but switched over after the whole Jabberjaw incident. You guys do a great job. I can't get enough. It's Leanne. Thank you, Leanne. Last email, then I got to go to words. I got Jennifer from Lakeland standing by. I have always known you are a Barack Obama supporter, but stop with the so-called child of Sarah Palin with Down syndrome. That's just not right for you to be calling him a retard. I don't think, if I did call him a retard, I'm sorry, but... Again, I think that this woman is propping this kid up for the wrong reasons. And I'm just somewhat offended by it. Go be a mom. Stop, when walking through because this kid's not normal. I've never seen the kid have any emotion at all. Jennifer from Lakeland, hi.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
2 questions. Go ahead.
Okay, first let me say, I love your Obama thing.
Thank you.
I've always been a Republican, but not this year. Anyway, so how did Spice get his name?
How did Spice get his name? Spice, I might as well throw it over to you. Why should I answer for you?
God, it's so stupid. It's like back in the day when I was interning, the Spice Girls were somewhat cool. I was all pierced up and all that crap, and somebody yelled it out, and it just stuck. And it sucks, I know. I'm a grown man, call myself Spice. It's horrible.
He does not like it at all.
I thought it was something sexier, but whatever.
No, believe me, I wish there was a better story to it. I really do.
No, Jennifer,
if you were to make up something,
if you were to close your eyes, how did you want it to go down? You said I thought it was something a little bit sexier. I mean, what were you?
Spice is my boy.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that dirty. You got that attitude. Love it.
Spice, I think.
Have we had sex before?
I think she's touching herself.
I think this girl's really throwing it out there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jennifer. First of all, have you ever met Spice before?
I've had a friend that's met him.
All right, and what
I would love to meet him.
What did your friend say about him?
Not to ruin his reputation, but he was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
It's a damn dirty lie.
Are you okay right now? It sounds like you're on the verge of, getting a little razy there.
Stop.
I mean, even Manson, who doesn't really care for this sort of thing, is she not like,
Yeah, she sounds like she's getting worked up.
Like she's getting after it. Are you getting after yourself, sweetheart?
Not right now.
Right. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, Jennifer. First of all, you're from Lakeland. How old are you?
36.
36. Well, she sounds so much younger.
Sexy prime right there.
Yeah, Spice is all about the cougars.
I am.
And are you married?
No.
Brent, she even feels good when she talks about herself.
Yeah. 5'1", blonde hair, blue eyes.
5'1", blonde, a little bit of a spinner. Now, what's the weight? 5'1", you shouldn't be, what should you, what do you?
125.
5'1", 125. A little bit thicker?
I got junk in the trunk.
Right.
That means fat.
Nice draft.
Spice.
No, it does not.
Big jugs? You got a set of Diacos? What do you got on you?
38 double Ds.
Natural or bolt-on Willie?
Natural.
Natural.
Big udders.
Big, any kids?
Not that live with me.
All right, well, that's definitely not a good thing.
What happened to the kids? Why did Daddy take the kids?
Yeah, I mean, that's now. First of all, Jennifer is.
What's that? No, wait. What?
First of all, as much as you think that is steamy, it's really not. I mean, because
Okay, Bubba, hold on. I took the high road. I left my husband, and I didn't want to rip my kids away from the home, school, and life that they had. So.
All right.
So I get 50% of the time.
So you
fancy word for ditching.
So you left your husband? What?
Uh-huh. She's excited overly.
Who's working who?
Seriously.
You're listening to the Bubba Radio Network.
I'm Dr. Love. This is Dr. Pepper Cherry. It has a kiss of cherry flavor. This devilish elixir has a kiss of cherry.
Dad, it's not kiss. It's kiss of cherry. It's amazingly smooth. Be smooth.
Dr. Pepper Cherry is amazingly smooth. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
I was getting depressed because of all the stress I was feeling at home. Had a poor credit score and the number would haunt me wherever I go. Thought I'd move to a place where my credit could stink and nobody would care. I just wish that somebody had told me that place was a Renaissance fair. FreeCreditReport.com. Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom. Never mind, they've been singing our songs since we first showed up with our pirate hats on. If you're not into fake sword fights, pointy slippers and green wool tights, take a tip from a knight who knows. FreeCreditReport.com. Let's go!
Offer applies with enrollment and triple advantage. Is this the life you dream about? Out on the water, working with your hands. That life is closer than you think, thanks to Marine Mechanics Institute. In just about a year, MMI's Marine Technology Program can help you gain the entry-level skills that marinists, boatyards, and dealers across the country are looking for. Marine Mechanics Institute is the industry's choice for trained technicians. Call or log on to discover the life you've always dreamed of. Marine Mechanics Institute.
I gotta get my car insured. Just point and click, point and click, point and click, point and click.
When you need auto insurance right now, log on to thegeneral.com. You'll get an instant quote with no personal information required and a down payment as low as $59. You can also print your own proof of insurance form, all online in just a few minutes.
Piece of cake.
Best car insurance rates in town. Call 1-800-GENERAL now.
You have the secret recipe?
Yes.
How much?
99 cents.
Now get 10 great KFC tastes starting at 99 cents on the new KFC value menu. The new popcorn chicken snack box, the new original recipe snacker, and more. Taste the secret for 99 cents.
It was the fight fans waited years for, and now, for the first time, it's coming to free TV. Former UFC middleweight champion Rich Franklin faces off against former Pride middleweight Dan Henderson on an all-new episode of UFC Unleashed tonight at 9, only on Spike.
And now it's your turn to make a difference. 1-888-69 Bubba.
I say we do.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Tom from St. Pete. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Bubba.
What's going on, buddy? You there, Tom?
Yeah.
Tom.
You there?
Yeah, I'm there. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
It's a friggin' cell phone. Hey, I'm the guy with the sign, Bubba. Much love to the Bubba Army.
Oh, you're the guy
You
that
guys rock.
Well, you rock as well. Got some great exposure for the Bubba Army. Now, how can we? I mean, we'd like to meet you somewhere and get you loaded up with some Bubba Army garb. Are you going to the World Series games?
I've got 2 tickets, and I'm gonna go for more today.
All right. Well, let me put you on hold, Tom, and we'll get you loaded up with some Bubba Army garb. That if you go to the game, you can have your Bubba Army stuff on. You there, Tom? Cell phones ruining talk radio. Absolutely ruining. Now, what's Frank Caliendo doing on Channel 13?
He's got his new TV premiere coming out.
Well, he's promoting the hell out of it.
Oh, man.
I love
he
your
emailed me
William
last night,
Shatner.
too.
Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? Who doesn't love a Shatner?
Let me ask you about the candidates.
Now, Manson, do you still keep in touch with him?
No, I haven't heard from him in a long time.
He emailed me
Well,
last night.
McCain is easier for me, obviously.
Let's hear how he does about Barack.
Laughing in the background there. Fringe. Everything's about Fringe. Fringe. It's the thumbs up. We must do this together. Fringe. He's never seen the show Friends, although he tried to sound like he has. Fringe. Fringe was my favorite show. Foley was my favorite character. Even I know that was Phoebe. Come on. I don't have to bail you out on this. And Barack is somewhere. It's odd. Barack is somewhere between Ted Koppel and an alien. And hear me out on this. Because Ted Koppel sounds like this, and an alien, at least in my world, sounds like that. Put them together, you have Barack Obama. And everything he says sounds inspirational. That's going to wear off at some point, right? If he's elected, you can't always sound inspirational. Like, I have a hangnail, America. We have hangnails, too. Why does it sound so good when you say it? I have a hangnail, too, my friends. It's 71 years old.
And he's all over the road. I can't even.
Crack.
He needs some Adderall. My Lord.
Sounded like Robin Williams.
He did. He's all over the road. So anyway, did you see the big coup yesterday? Brent, actually, we were walking through the airport yesterday, and it was breaking news that Colin Powell now officially is going to endorse Obama. Of course, I think that the first thing off people's minds are going to be, well, he's black, and it's a black-on-black deal. But, actually, you're talking about a guy that was the third, he was a Secretary of State.
Yep.
And, behind the vice president, that's, I think in the overall pecking order-ish, it's isn't it?
Yes, the Secretary of State with Foreign Affairs. Yeah, that's the most important job.
And, so you got a guy, this might be one of the highest-ranking officials to flip-flop, in a knockdown, drag-out party. I can't think of the last time a Secretary of a State flip-flopped on his party. Can you?
No. And Powell also said yesterday on Meet the Press that he's donated money to John McCain's campaign, and he made up his mind in the last 2 months.
Mike from Tampa, hi.
Hey, what's up, Bubba? Go Rays, guys. I was at Ferg's last night with a bunch of friends of mine, and there was a guy that said he was Spice, and I've met Spice before, and this guy was trying to mat girls, pick up girls, and he had some girls from Boston totally buying it, taking it to the bank.
Oh, God,
really?
you're kidding me.
So some guy
impersonating you, man.
Some guy was at Ferg's last night trying to be or pretending to be Spice and had hot bitches from Boston that were buying it. So he subsequently probably got a little.
They were hanging, man. They were hanging, dude. He had a Bubba Army shirt on. He was so full of it, man. Me and a couple of my buddies.
How come you didn't call him out? Oh, you did call him out.
Oh, you did call him out.
Yeah, we did call him out.
What'd you say?
We finally called him out. Oh, he started raising all kinds of hell, and you know what I mean? He was kind of he had some big guys with him and stuff, so we were like, I didn't want to cause any fight or go to jail because there was cops everywhere, but man, we totally called him out.
Spice is not
going either way.
Spice is not going to be, if you ever see Spice out, he may have a faggy-looking scarf, but he's not going to be wearing a Bubba Army garb. I promise you that.
That ain't going to happen.
So there you go. Here's the snippet of Colin Powell endorsing Obama. Stand by.
Thursday night, the Rays came to within 7 hours.
Oh, that ain't it. My bad.
Oops.
I'm so messed up over this. I hit the wrong cut.
Colin Powell says both John McCain and Barack Obama would make good presidents. But Powell, who served in both Bush administrations, says Obama has unique strengths that will help him address the nation's biggest problems.
He has met the standard of being a successful president, being an exceptional president. I think he is a transformational figure. He is a new generation coming onto the world stage, onto the American stage. And for that reason, I'll be voting for Senator Barack Obama.
Obama says it's an honor to win Powell's support.
A great soldier, a great statesman, a great American.
has endorsed our campaign for change.
Powell and McCain say they are longtime friends, but McCain says he isn't surprised about the endorsement.
But I'm also very pleased to have the endorsement of 4 former secretaries of state, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of well over 200 retired Army generals and admirals.
Powell argues the Republican Party is drifting too far to the right, alleging that some Republicans are even spreading the false report that Obama is a Muslim.
This is not the way we should be doing it in America. Is there something wrong with being a Muslim in this country? The answer is no, that's not America.
As the first black Secretary of State and the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Powell says Obama's race was not important to his decision. Instead, Powell focused on economics and says Obama has a stronger grip.
In the case of Mr. McCain, I found that he was a little unsure as to how to deal with the economic problems that we were having. And almost every day there was a different approach to the problem.
Powell also called McCain's running mate, Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, unqualified.
I don't believe she's ready.
That's probably it's probably the edited version as to what he really wanted to say.
That's the understatement of the year. Of the United States, which is
he's always been kind of a man's man. I mean, he never fit into the Bush administration at all.
It's too bad his brother's such a puss.
Yeah, it's true.
It's his son.
It's too bad that
oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Too bad he went in front of the UN and sold that phony baloney Iraq war.
And lied.
True, too.
I lost a lot of respect for him for that.
You're right. You're exactly right.
How much do you think he knew?
With just 2 weeks to Election Day, Powell says he will not campaign for Obama. He wants to return to the sidelines to let the two contenders fight it out. In Washington, Shannon Bream, Fox News.
Yeah, Spice, what'd you say now?
Well, I was asking how much you think he knew about the phony Iraqi intelligence.
Secretary of State.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So do you think he was just fully knew everything, or did he have a little bit of doubt, do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this, too. The blaming all this on our intelligence community is bogus, because anybody that's been in the military and dealt with intel on any level knows that our intelligence is not usually wrong. They are the best in the world for a reason, and blaming it on them, I think, is disrespectful to our good people that work in our intel.
So he knew.
Yes.
Speaking of disrespectful, I'm going to be construed. I mean, people are going to think conceived as that or whatever, because I have to go to words so that I get caught up, so that I have time for Mick Foley today. If not, I'll be scrambling around all day. So let me get these out of the way. Please forgive me.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
This is the Bubba Radio Network.
So, Sarah, what's going on here? Sarah?
She won't answer you. Or she can't.
Why not?
This is the way it's been since she started smoking pot. She's all lazy and boring and... You know, we used to have so much fun together.
And now?
This is what we do.
Don't look, but you're totally getting scoped out right now.
Seriously, where?
Don't look. Been staring at you for like 20 minutes.
What, that? That's the money you could be saving with Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, I was shopping for a new car. Which one's me? A cool convertible or an SUV? Too bad I didn't know my credit was whack, cause now I'm driving off the lot in a used subcompact. F-R-E-E, that spells free. Creditreport.com, baby. Saw their ads on my TV. Thought about going but was too lazy. Now instead of looking fly and rolling fat, my legs are sticking to the vinyl and my posse's getting laughed at. F-R-E-E, that spells free. Creditreport.com, baby. Offer applies with enrollment and triple advantage.
It's amazing. Watch how OxyClean unleashes the power of oxygen, making tough stains disappear like magic without fading or bleeding the colors. For pet messes, OxyClean is a must. It goes deep down below the surface to get rid of the stain and the odor. Have you ever spilled chlorine bleach on your colored clothes? Well, OxyClean is tough on stains without the damaging effects of chlorine bleach. If you save one pair of jeans, then OxyClean has paid for itself. Some clothes say no chlorine bleach, but OxyClean safely removes the stain, even on babies' clothes. It's the stain remover for the things that you love. Add a scoop of OxyClean to every load of laundry, It'll boost the stain-removing power of your detergent. Don't just clean it, OxyClean it.
Hey, Bubba.
What? Diplomacy isn't his way.
How about y'all?
He finds brute force and intimidation work much better.
It's a very stiff deal.
This is the Bubba the Love Sponge
Thursday
Show.
night, the Rays came to within 7 outs of the World Series. The trip gets delayed by 3 days, but really none of that matters because the Rays have their ticket to the World Series, and this is how they did it. Boston gets to Matt Garza in the first. Dustin Pedroia tags him for a solo shot. Garza, though, settles down after that. John Lester pitches a perfect game through 3 innings for Boston. The Rays finally get something going in the fourth. Evan Longoria with a double to right. Carlos Pena, he's heading home. You've got to watch this. Pena just motoring around third. The ball gets there first, but Pena beats the tag, and we're tied at 1. Next inning, 2 aboard for Rocco Baldelli, and he drives one to left. Here comes Willie Ibar for the lead. And the Rays are up 2-1 after 5 innings in the 6th with Pedroia on first now. And that was Dickie Vitale. Just loving this. Garza gets David Ortiz to strike out. Deanna Navarro follows with the throw out. Pedroia is out at second. Threat is over at this time. Now to the 7th. Willie Ibar. And this is huge. They're getting help from everybody. He sends this one deep. Lester's pitch is out. 3-1 Rays. And that leaves it up to the pitching staff. Matt Garza leaves in the 8th with 9 strikeouts, giving up just 1 run on the night. The Rays turn to their bullpen, needing 6 out for the ticket to the World Series. And you know what happened on Thursday? But these guys said, no, not tonight. We are coming together as a team. The Sox would load the bases in the 8th inning.
2 hits to the defending world champion.
But that move turned out to be just a great one. Look at this. Rookie David Price is called on. Barely pitching in the minors, and he gets out of the jam. Gets J.D. Drew looking to end the inning. Boston then comes on in the 9th. They are down to their last at-bat. Jed Lowry, the ground out to Aki Iwamura. And it's World Series bound. The Rays win this thing 3-1. And now await a date, which is Wednesday, with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Deuce is wild, 2-2. Line down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It will. Pena around second. On his way to third. They're going to wave it. Here comes the relay from Pedroia. Up the line, and not in time, we're tied. Swing and a drive. Deep left. That ball is long gone. Ground ball to second. Iwamura's got it. Rays are going to the World Series.
The Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Andrew Friedman. President Matt Silverman. And the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, Stu Sternberg. And to do the honors, the honorary American League president, Mrs. Jackie Autry, to present the William Harridge AL Championship Trophy.
Congratulations to St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay. Your Rays are the American League champions for 2008. I'm very proud to present this to ownership and to Andrew and Stu and Matt and especially Joe Madden, a dear friend of the Autry family. And I'm very proud to have known him, and I'm glad that he was able to help us bring a championship in 2002 to Anaheim. Stuart, Joe, Matt, Andrew, congratulations.
Hey, Stu. I know that your first vivid memory of baseball came watching Sandy Koufax pitch. But I'm thinking that there's a new event at the top of the list in terms of baseball memories for you.
Tonight might have done it. It certainly wiped out what happened Thursday night in Boston and made this all the sweeter for our fans here in Tampa Bay, all the support we've gotten, and obviously the fans all across the nation. It shows that anything is possible because we really took something from worst to first.
Stu, congratulations. Let me talk to your partner, Matt. Matt, a self-described mediocre second baseman growing up who got a ball strike indicator at the end of the season. How's this compare? An AL championship trophy. How's that Matt Garza trade working out for you?
Matty was absolutely phenomenal tonight. What he did in Fenway as well was special, and the game tonight was going to be dictated by the starting pitchers, and Lester was very good tonight, but Garza was phenomenal.
How gratifying is it for you to look out and see the contributions of the guys you went out and got, such as Garza, such as Bartlett? Willie Ibar goes deep tonight.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the special things about this is that every department in baseball operations has a hand in this, whether it's international, free agent scouting, pro scouting, or player development. Everybody has their fingerprints on the composition of this roster, and it's special for everybody.
All right, number 70, it's your turn.
How about that Tampa Bay?
9 equals 8. 9 equals 4.
How about not equaling 1 right now? That'd be kind of nice. Hey, listen, thank you all for your support. We could not do it without you. You guys have been fantastic. We felt you all the time. A couple more days, come on back out and get us to be 9 equaling 1, the new math.
The Lee McPhail Jr. ALCS MVP trophy. Again, Mrs. Autry will do the honors, and I think you know who's getting this.
Matt Garza will receive the Lee McPhail Most Valuable Player Award for going 2-0 in the series with a 1.38 ERA. He gave up 6 walks, 8 hits, and 14 strikeouts. Matt, congratulations.
Matt Garza, in your wildest dreams, did you picture this night when the season began?
As a kid, I think everybody pictures this night. Usually it's a Game 7 of the World Series, but shoot, I'll take the Game 7 of the ALCS anytime.
How did this team hold together in the face of what had gone on in Game 5 and then losing Game 6 and all the momentum and all that talk?
The same way we played all year, and that's believe in one another and just keep coming out and fighting. Keep fighting till the end of 9. And we fought to the end of 9 tonight, and you guys see what happens.
Let me ask you one more thing. We had a shot of you before the game started tonight, and you had, I don't know, what was on the iPod tonight?
Just all kind of rap music. I'm a big fan of Tupac, so that's all I can say.
Matt, congratulations on the MVP and on going to the World Series.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Rays 1 out of the way for clinching a place in the postseason. Fly ball left field. Bottom fishes no more. The Rays are going to the playoffs.
BJ Upton, center field, Gabe Gross and Jamie Fields, Hensky, Howell, Big Thick Johnny Gomes, Carl Crawford and Joe Madden, Percival and Edwin Jackson. Come on out and cheer for the Rays winning in the dome. Oh, drive back into deep left field and gone. Home run for Evan Longoria. Lots of wins, but not too cocky. Love that little tiny Yaki drop devil from their name. Now they're winning all their games. Zobrist, Bradford baseball, New York Yankees and Rays brawl. Miracle turnaround, first place we will claim. Tampa Bay Rays on.
really, I mean, I would have a problem. This is the woman that's running for a judge in Pinellas County against a guy named Robert Williams. And I thought, man, that St. Petersburg time, in the midst of what this woman has been through, I think that,
he's far. I did the research on both of them. He's far more qualified. Not to mention, she's got some failure to appears, and that just shows a disrespect and a lack of respect for the court.
They just glossed over those.
How can you gloss over that?
like it wasn't a big deal at all.
I don't get that. There's a no-brainer in that race, and it's Mr. Williams.
Spice is Mick ready to go?
Mick is ready to go.
I think he lives in Florida nowadays, up in the Panhandle, I think. Mick, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Let me clear up the geographic question. I moved back. I was in Florida for like 5 years, but I've been back in Long Island for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah.
You just couldn't quite deal with all of us rednecks down here.
No, I like the rednecks. You know what? When I was the commissioner of WWE, I guess I was naive enough to think I was really the commissioner. And they had me doing so many, appearances, especially when they had their restaurant, that I'd be taken off from Florida, at 6 p.m. the night before an 11 a.m. appearance. And I wouldn't be back for like 36 hours. So
but the good thing about down here, Mick, is your money does go a hell of a lot further.
Oh, man. What kind of person works their entire career in the South? I lived in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Texas, and I'm leaving out one state. Let me try to get Tennessee I left out. 15 years of the entire time I was working full-time, I was in the South. And then the moment I retire, I moved back to New York, where it's far more expensive.
Far more expensive, and you had a hell of a run down here, kid. You know that.
I did have a good run. I did.
I mean, the South is what made you a zillionaire, please.
I don't know about that because when I was with WWE, we could have lived anywhere, but we liked the Panhandle. My wife and I drove by there. We saw the beach. We thought it was great, and as unlikely as it might seem, we had a pretty good gym there for 4 or 5 years. So I did have a good time all over the South.
Now, Mick, I didn't know that you were born in Indiana.
That's true. Yeah, John Mellencamp and David Lee Roth. We were all born in the same hospital at different times.
Right there in Bloomington.
Yes.
Now, at what age did you move out of Bloomington and head over?
I was just a little kid. My dad was a student there, believe it or not, working on his doctoral thesis. So he was studying, and I came along during that time.
So the thing about what people don't realize with Mick is that he's always played like Mankind and all these guys, but he's like real smart. Some of his gimmicks always like been barbaric, and he's like the hardcore guy, but he's actually one of the smarter of the guys.
I mean, just being an author alone and writing that many books and being on the top of the New York Times bestsellers. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment, and doing it without a ghostwriter.
That was a big thrill for me, is the fact I did it myself. But the fact that people are surprised actually worked for me, because it doesn't matter how many books I've done. The bar is always set so low for me. Like you go on
It's true, because you can just be like, yeah, I wrote it myself, and everybody's like, what? You wrote it yourself?
No, the Beyond the Mat deal was actually was a good, but that was actually they followed you during your career, didn't they?
Yeah. When Barry Blaustein, the director, started work on that, I was supposed to be the guy who had a little taste of mainstream success, which would have been in WCW,
right?
And was now back doing the independents, because it was never thought that Vince McMahon would see me as a WWE type guy. So I guess I was fortunate that as filming progressed, I became. I had a different role to play.
Nothing against Vince, man, but Vince had you all wrong in the fact that, maybe you weren't as polished as Christian or as Edge or some of the guys with a big push, but probably one of the best money-making feud was between you and Mark Undertaker. That was money, that feud.
Yeah, and if I had to credit people other than Mr. McMahon, it would be Jim Ross for kind of tirelessly pushing for me. I guess, for like 5 years, and also the fact that The Undertaker looked at me and thought, I don't care, physique-wise, if he's not as impressive as some people. He thought that that would be a good matchup, and it turned out I told somebody, I said, never underestimate the power of The Undertaker.
Well, let me tell you something. Mark runs the show in the back, boy. You know that as well as I do. He's the most vested guy in the world, and he can get not that Undertaker ever plays the card, but he can get stuff done if he didn't like the way something's going, and he doesn't go there very often. But he's just
no, that's the key. If you don't go there very often, he's kind of a guy that speaks softly and carries a really big stick. So Man, I've never been on the bad side of the Undertaker, backstage, and it's not like he's plays politics.
No,
but
not at all.
If he doesn't like something or something that somebody's done, that behavior either needs to change in a hurry or that person needs to.
All Mark has to do is just give that look. Because he really doesn't say much, man, but he just gives that look, and all the guys in the back, Brent, will shut up because he's like the guy. I mean, he's the guy, and he's a great guy, by the way.
You know what? I guess I don't know. Maybe I'll name names. But there was a big tables, ladders, and chairs match. I mean, it was Edge and Christian and the Dudleys and the Hardys, and their check came out. And they weren't happy with it, and I thought rightfully so. I was kind of flattered they came to me. This is like in 2000, I guess.
Right.
And I saw the check. I was like, man, that does seem really low. And so I said, I'm going to speak up about it. And I went to Jim Ross, who was the head of talent relations, and he told me that they had their match had been third in the order behind whoever Steve Austin was wrestling and whoever the Undertaker, that match.
Right.
So these guys were third on the card. And when I went back to them and gave them the information, I said, I think you guys are more important to that card than Taker was. And all six guys were like, no, like you don't go there. If you're younger guys, you don't.
Well, one time there was a house show down here, and actually I got to stick up with this to kind of show you the pecking order. We were doing a house show down here in Tampa, and I was going to be a dark match, opening kind of deal, and they had me getting beat by God, I forget who it was, and in my own hometown. And Taker walked into Briscoe and said, "Man, you can't crush Bubba in his own hometown. You better change that." And that's all it took. And I went from doing one in the middle, Britt, to like do my own crush match like 6 minutes into it.
Man, hey, you know what? Just it reminded me. Did you know I actually wrote a letter back when you had that trouble when taking off the air?
Right.
I actually wrote a letter to the O'Reilly Factor when I saw that thing on the air. I just thought, man, one kid. It was a kid who had it, who left it on the station.
Yeah,
maybe listening to rock and roll, and the next morning his dad turned on the radio. I have the story right.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, one guy, one man can take down a career, and fortunately it didn't work out that way. But at the time, I just thought that's really unfair.
See, I mean, that's the thing about Mick. And by the way, Mick, thank you.
And of course, O'Reilly didn't highlight that. Mick
No, definitely not. It may have been too long. And
how'd O'Reilly know how to work? I mean, you bring Mick in, right? Because and you're good cop, bad cop it all day. Let Mick be the heel and be the absurd, crazed lunatic wrestling that's taking too many shots to the head, but he brings name value, right?
Sure.
And then O'Reilly could just get all hot in the whole 9 yards, and Mick could even blast him in the hair with the chair. I mean, it would have been great stuff, right there.
But then what? I had the opportunity to go on his show, and I even agreed, and then I saw it. Man, I just. With him, it's hit or miss,
Yeah. Well, with him, you can't get your word in because he'll turn your mic down, he'll overpower you, he'll cut you off, and you have no control over it.
The idea is whether or not you look good is entirely up to him, and it's possible, maybe even probable, we could have had a good conversation because his producer said, "No, Mr. O'Reilly respects you. He'll be."
Yeah, he says that to everybody.
I've worked pretty hard to establish a good name, and I can make points and. Go point for point with just about anybody, but I can't do it if I'm playing by somebody else's rules.
Well, you got to control your own destiny. I mean, you got to be, you got to be calling the match. You can't be out there taking orders from somebody. Now, let's talk about your next deal while you're on the air, and I'm really excited about that because I've heard nothing but good things on how Dixie Carter treats the talent and how good she is to people. And you're making the switch over to TNA to work for Dixie and the boys.
Yeah. I started a couple weeks ago, and she has been great. Vince, was great. He just handled things a little bit differently than Dixie. They're two completely different personalities.
Yeah, Dixie doesn't want to kill you, exhausting. Dixie wants to give you a few days rest, but Vince wants you to do 955 appearances in a row.
Yeah, Vince, he's a pretty stern taskmaster. And I feel lucky, I don't know if you guys have, caught wind of the fact that my experience as an announcer wasn't all that, it wasn't entirely bad, but there were parts of it I did not enjoy. And I wonder if the TNA opportunity had come up and I hadn't been announcing, whether I would have taken it. Because I may have felt like I owe it to Vince to kind of stay and not work for the other guys. But, at a certain point, I was like, man, this is really not how, a guy should be spoken to or dealt with, and then so it made my decision to go and try something different a lot easier.
Well, but Dixie, they just got to let you be yourself. They just got to let you be yourself because that's when you're the best. Is when you're yourself.
You know what? Honestly, this is. I mean, I would, even if I didn't feel like it was going great, I would say positive things about it. If I was working for the company, it was my job to do it. But I would not say this unless it was true, which is I'm having as much fun as I've had since like '99 and 2000 when I was the commissioner, because they trust my judgment. I'm allowed to come up with my own stuff. On my way out there, it's like, wow, I get to say whatever I want.
Now, how are you?
So it's been a lot of fun, and I sense that momentum is growing. And I think that we can really make a difference.
Well, how are you feeling as far as like physically? I mean, the rap on you for a long time, but I'm sure you know about it. It's sort of like, okay, well, he's great, but then at times he'll just kind of space out because of all the bumps you've taken over your years. I mean, mentally, how are you feeling? Does that stuff still happen where you just kind of like space out?
No, you know what? I think that was directly like in '99. There's that short-term and long-term difference in the memories. And, man, I was kind of taking a pounding there in '99 because I was up near the top of the card and my knees and my back, my neck were hurting. And I was like, man, I don't know. I still felt the need to give people a good bang for their buck, and so I made the decision, like, hey, let's take some damage to the head. That's a good idea. And one of the best decisions I made, probably the best and most important was to leave when I did leave full-time wrestling in early 2000 because I had no doubt that if I had stayed, I would have made really good money for like another year or two. But I don't think we'd be having this conversation or possibly any conversation.
Now, Mick, I didn't know. Now, did the reality show has that panned out?
You know what? It did not. But we'd had a chance a few years earlier, and we were always sitting there like wondering what would have happened. I thought, I don't know. It's kind of, my kids are not at an age where they can make mature adult decisions about whether or not they want to be on TV. But I guess as a family, when the chance came about the second time, we were like, there really is an upside, if this works out. There's a lot of upside, and you've seen guys, even with very, moderate ratings, people are seen as being huge stars because they've been on reality shows. So we had the crew from A&E come over for 8 days, and everybody felt like it was going well. 16 hours a day for 8 days, and the pilot, I thought was really good, and a lot of people in the business thought it was really good. But the knock on us was that we got along too well. And when I was approached about doing it, I said, we're not the kind of family that like yells. You're not going to see great displays of anger. They said, well, those days are passé. We think people are ready for a different type of family, kind of like, a very offbeat Huxtable family.
Right.
And I think in a few years you will see that type of family, but I think when push came to shove, they got nervous because no one had done it before, and they weren't sure if there would be an audience for, a show that made people actually, think a little bit.
Well, I got a message from Hulk. I got a message from my good friend Hulk Hogan. Be careful in those reality shows.
I really, and I say this because I know Hulk, and I say that I'm not being, funny about this at all. But I look at that and I just wonder, whether or not he would make that same decision again. Because I would argue that, for as many positive things as that show did for him, in the end, it wasn't. No, it was not a positive.
Mick, he'd be the first to tell you, firsthand, guy, boy on boy, that it was not good for his family. And hindsight being, he wouldn't do it again. No way. It puts way too much light on especially if your kids are at that age where they're really impressionable and they can really get sucked into the business or the deal, and it's just. But by the way, on a good note, though, Nick gets out of jail tomorrow, so Terry gets his boy back.
Well,
that's
good.
Been tough.
Tell him, I never knew Hulk that well, but I went out of my way a couple times to say, hey, I'm really sorry for the way the last few months have been going for you. And one of our fears was that if we did get the pilot, if the pilot went ahead. And now we're taping show number 3. Now if they come to us and they say, you know what, we need a little more conflict. Can you guys, come up with something? That now that you're, vested in the success of the show, what choice would you have? And but to kind of do what they wanted. And at that point, the show would no longer, have any real basis in reality.
Because you're like 3 episodes in, you're like, well, we can't turn back, so we kind of got to do what they want us to do, and it's not what I want to do. And it's gonna, at the end of the day, then whether the kids start believing, okay, is Dad being a dick for real, or is Mom and Dad really mad at each other, or is it for the show, or what's going on?
Yeah, then
here?
you become a booker, and you got to come up with an angle of, you find condoms in your kid's drawer, and then all of a sudden you take a chair bump, and he lands on a bunch of tacks. I mean, you're right. It causes like a downward spiral, and you never know where it's going to end.
So when we got the word that they weren't going for it, like, I was a little bit disappointed, but honestly, I was mostly relieved because now we know we tried it. I hate to sit back and go, what would happen if? What if? And so I like to try it. See, go full tilt. And in this case, it didn't work out, and I have to believe it's for the best.
I know that you're, with obviously TNA and Dixie, and kind of back with one of your rivals, and that was Kurt Angle. You and him had a good deal back at in Vince's stuff, and I think you worked a little bit with Christian as well, and both of those guys doing well for Dixie.
Yeah, man. Kurt and I had, and Christian. The stuff I did with Edge and Christian was, some of my favorite stuff, and. In WWE, even though it wasn't in-ring stuff. And I was just Kurt was just starting out as I was leaving. And I remember when I proposed doing a tag team with Kurt, people thought I was crazy because it was like, no, this guy does not have it. Like Kurt was a guy who was seen as having the technical stuff down pat, but that he was not going to be a successful character at all. And so me suggesting a role for Kurt was, seen as being, fairly stupid. And he and I were just joking around about that. Like, man, look at how he's developed. He's one of the great characters, like, in the history of the business.
Well, Hogan wrestled him one time, and he said they locked up, and he had to get out of the ring and say, you need to slow down, brother, because you're way too stiff. You're going to kill me out here.
Oh, man, he's so intense. And you know what? I mean...
I guess he said, slow down. Jesus, you're killing me. Slow down.
Yeah, he's. I was ringside for his match with Jeff Jarrett at the last... TNA pay-per-view, which I thought was a great pay-per-view. I mean, maybe I'm biased now, but I think I know a good show when I see one, and I thought that was a really good show. And man, it's just his intensity is off the page.
And the bad thing about it is, if he gets a hair up his ass and he wants to take you shoot style, I mean, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I talked about this in the last book, so I was about to tell this story, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't, but it is in writing that the last time I was in the ring with Kurt, Mr. McMahon had a talk with Kurt before he went out there, telling him to take me down continually and eat me up, and opted not to share the plan with me.
Really?
It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like dirty pool. And when I saw Vince, if it had been 2000, 2001, when I had a little more anger in me, I really would have let him have a little bit of it. But I was just more hurt, and I was like, Vince, did you know I had 3 partially torn ligaments in my knee? He's like, oh, no, I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Any one of those things, you're kind of on borrowed time.
I mean, that's kind of crappy. And making the fact that he gets with Kurt and says, just continually take him down, single leg style, and you're like, what? I mean, that's not what. Can you imagine you're out there in the ring saying, hey, brother, this ain't what we talked about in the back.
And it's not good TV either.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's not good TV. And that Kurt was in the ring, I just pound like you said, he gets really intense, and man, it was like.
Were you telling him take it easy?
Like, slow down. What's going on, kid?
I was telling him this is the hardest I've ever been hit in my life.
Now, do you wish wrestling was more? Some of the kayfabe was still left in it. I mean, it seems to me like everything is so exposed these days between the internet and everything like that. Do you wish it would go back to the old school where it was just everybody kind of just had their own secrets?
In a way, in a way I do. There are some things, like I saw Hulk's, his celebrity wrestling, and I thought it was pretty fun, but it just seems weird to have the announcers explaining what the guys
That was me. Did you know that?
And,
hey, I was the announcer.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
I didn't know that. I mean, but like I said, it's you can't put the genie back in the bottle now. But in a way, it made life a lot easier and more profitable for me, because all of a sudden I was no longer the guy that sucked.
It showed the genius.
Understood, wow, he takes a beating with style.
I remember back in the day, man. Remember back in the day, Mick, where the baby faces would have one locker room. The heels would have it, and then the ref would go back and talk about the spots. He would go back and forth, and because you couldn't talk, and then if you went out that night, you still couldn't associate with the babies or the heels, could you?
Oh no, and not only that, I was just mentioning to somebody earlier today that I remember having my job threatened when I was in Tennessee because I was talking to a girl in a wheelchair, and I got lectured about how that's not what, the heels do.
Oh, man.
And that was always, hard for me to pretend to be, bad once I was outside the ring, but that's the way.
Hogan was working for this guy. I forget who was booking the old Florida territory, and the babies and the heels would ride together into the show. If he used to say, "If you guys get in a car wreck, make sure the heels stick at the accident and the babies run. I don't want to see you guys together."
Yeah, some of that stuff. When I was in WCW and they tried to, like I was talking about putting the genie back in the bottle, like they tried to halfway stuff it back in there by not allowing the guys to stay in the same hotels, or if he showed up at a gym and if I was a babyface and a heel walked in, you're supposed to leave, and they didn't even book people on the same flights. It was kind of ridiculous,
Well, in the day and age of the internet, where people can, find out that these two are best friends, and you guys were at each other's barbecue this past weekend, and what have I. I mean, there is no more of that left. But I think that the industry has also done a good job of making it sports. Vince polished that turd up back in the day by saying that it's, hey, it's sports entertainment, and our demographics are as such, and we're out here having a good time. It's very athletic, but people do get hurt, but we kind of know what's going on out there. I think Vince is the one that kind of helped polish it up a little bit.
The term sports entertainment really is brilliant when you think about it. I mean, the way he did that.
Oh yeah, no question. And I always felt, and the whole writing of this last book was kind of based on the assumption that what happened behind the scenes was at least as interesting as what was going on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was writing the first book, I was being very honest, but I really felt that people would respect what we did more after reading it, And I hate to be a guy who gives away secrets, but I do think, that to the general public, we were a bunch of idiots, before that, current era began, and now people do see what we do as being, difficult, and they do see us as being, good performers as opposed to, fakers. And I think it's greatly cut down on the number of fights that wrestlers' kids get in school trying to defend their dad's honor. Yeah.
Now, have you talked to Vince, or has he made any contact with you with regards to you going to work for Dixie, or is he kind of over that? Vince is a control freak. You know that.
No.
And I mean,
you know what? I mean, he knew. I announced for 4.5 months, and the first month was like a honeymoon period, and he knew after that, for the last 3.5 months, that I wasn't happy there, and. When I made it pretty clear that I wasn't going to be re-signing, and then when word leaked out that I was going to TNA, I thought, man, I better call him, because out of respect, you got to call him and let him know that is true. And he and I had, it was a good talk. It was a very difficult talk. When I told my wife I have to call Vince, she was waiting for me when I came upstairs, and I was a little choked up, He was said a couple of nice things, and I told Vince he'd been one of the most important people in my life, which is true. And then it was like the day after that they took my profile down from.
Oh yeah, I've seen over the years, man. I've seen Terry and Vince get, it's honest to God, it's like they're almost like dating, because it's so on again, off again, and they use each other. I mean, they really do. Terry needs a quick payday, he goes back. Vince needs a little shot in the arm, he goes back. But over the years, I've been privy to some of their conversations, and Vince is the smoothest son of a bitch. He'll come in, he'll pay some homage to your family. He'll have a whole little rap sheet as to how the kids are doing. won't he, Mick? He'll pay oh, how's the kids doing? And then he'll 3 or 4 minutes prop you up, and then blam, he gets right to you.
Yeah, he will do what's he'll do what's best for business. And there's from what I've seen, there's only been a couple instances where guys have really burned their bridges. And being that on my last couple shows, I did I did the right thing, as they say, for the company. I don't think I burned a bridge. If I did, I mean, that's unfortunate. But on the list of things, Vince's acceptance of me and is important, but maybe not as important as Oh,
I don't think you burned a bridge at all, man. By all means, I mean, you left.
And even I find some of the moves complimentary, like taking my profile down immediately. I think was a compliment. Pulling me from the video game, I guess, along with Savage was a compliment. And from what guys told me, the Dudleys and Kevin Nash said the day that I left, they both got calls offering them big bumps in pay to join. So, even though they didn't express it to me, apparently that they did feel like it was a loss when I left.
Oh, absolutely, it's a loss. I mean, it really is. Now, do you think Dwayne will ever? I mean, I know he did well or has done well out in Hollywood. Do you think that he'll ever come back in any capacity?
I don't, because I've read and he told me at Mania that he thought the match that he and I did with Evolution was a great way to go out. He didn't publicize it as his last match, but I don't think he would see the upside in it.
No, I don't either.
He really made his mark. And you know what? That's one thing I learned, when it comes to WWE, not necessarily when it comes to the business, because I have not left the business, but, you really need to know when it's time to go. You get the sense. And I, it's funny because and I said this once before, I'm sorry if I'm repeating something, but that Ricky Nelson song about the garden party, where he says, I played a song about a hockey party.
Yeah.
It was time to leave, and I just definitely had the feeling that, you know what, it's time to leave.
I'll tell you, the only thing I've been mad about in the last little Vince angles is when he made Big Show kind of do a quasi job for that little midget. I thought that was just. That's about the most unbelievable angle you could. You got a guy that's 7 foot 500 pounds, and getting taken out by a guy that literally is the size of my 7-year-old son.
Oh, you're talking about who? Mayweather?
Floyd Mayweather for WrestleMania over in Orlando. I hated that.
Well, I think Big Show's reaction to that would be almost entirely dependent on the size of his Mania check.
That's true. That's true. Some of those checks get quite large sometimes, I will tell you. But some of them also, you have sometimes you get some of the boys that do the old Christian, Yeah, what do you do? Like, let me ask you a question, Nick. Mick, when your check would come back, the shiz hits. What would you do? What recourse do you have? Do you go to Jim Ross first? Do you go right to Vince? Do you go to Shane?
You know what? I never went to Shane. I would call Jim Ross. I think it's kind of like the wrestling equivalent to working the umpires in baseball. You make your argument, and you may not get a bump on that check, but it may, may pave the way for a little bit more down the road. And you know what? I remember at the Royal Rumble in 2000 when Triple H and I had a match that we did numbers equivalent to what Undertaker and Austin had done. And I knew the payoff was not equivalent to what they had gotten.
Right.
And I had my facts about why we should get the same. And Vince ended up bumping me and not Triple H, which I felt bad about. Although I think it's probably come back, a dozen times or more for Triple H. And Vince said he's going to be here for a long time, and he actually felt good. He said, he's going to do fine. And that was almost like his going away present for me. But I did go to him with what I thought was a valid argument, and he was responsive some of the time.
The thing about Vince, though, Brent, is he'll hold your check for 90 days, though. He holds it for 90 to 120 days to get that big interest deal, and then he scratches off. You usually have done 2 more pay-per-views sometimes before you get the one that he's 90 days in. Am I right about that?
What was real harrowing for me was when I had the book royalties.
Right.
And I knew they were going to be, bigger than anything I'd ever received in my life. This is when the book came out in '99, but I wasn't going to get paid for it until the middle of 2000.
Right.
And I felt a lot of pressure, because if I voided my contract, I was, officially voiding, my royalty, my rights to the royalties. So for 6 months, I really sweated it out, thinking, man, if I were to, end up, leaving in a bad way at any time, I'm forfeiting more money than I ever dreamed of. So it is kind of, it's kind of strange that it kind of, your fate kind of hangs in the balance there for a few months. But I guess compared to, the troubles that, people are having, in this economy and working real jobs, what we did was really not all that. The work conditions are actually pretty good.
The funniest payday story I ever heard, Brent, was when Hogan got paid for WrestleMania 3 with Andre. And Andre was, at that point, Mick, he was the end all be all. You know that.
Oh, sure.
He ran the show. He'd tell Vince what to do. And so they were going to pass the torch that night. Obviously it was huge. The numbers were huge, the biggest ever. And so Terry made more. I don't know if you know this or not, Mick, and it's probably something I shouldn't talk about, but I think Terry has talked about it on my other show. He actually made about $400,000 or $500,000 more than Andre did.
Wow.
But Andre couldn't know that. So when Vince gave the checks, he made sure that Andre saw what he thought was Terry's check. And then Terry got something on the backside. But Terry's like, until the day Andre died, I was so afraid to tell him. I could never say a word because he would have killed me. Because I guess Andre was just Oh my God, he was mean. I mean, not in a bad way, but he made guys. I mean, when he broke you into the business, man, he made you pay your dues. And I guess he hated Macho Man for some reason. They'd be out playing cards and stuff like that, and Macho Man would walk into the room and he'd go, "Terry, make him leave." Did you ever work with him at all, Mick?
Yeah, I did a couple times in 1991 in Japan when he was, really at the, tail end of his career.
Right.
And, when he dropped that elbow, he would drop it in sections, like he'd almost like lean down and his knee would kind of touch the ground and then his hip. And then still, a few 100 pounds of body weight would crush your sternum. And whereas it may have seemed laughable in the U.S., over there in Japan, because they're, big respecters of tradition, that the whole crowd would be like, whoa, like, we get this incredible response. So, yeah, we just had a couple matches. He teamed up with Dory Funk Jr. and but it's really cool to wrestle one of the legendary guys. And I've said this before, so I'm not repeating it. I'm not making it up just because you're Hulk's friend. But the two guys that I wished I could have wrestled and never did was Bruiser Brody, which obviously can't happen,
died in Puerto Rico,
and Hogan, because it's hard to say you completely did it all without having a match with him.
When I saw you were born in Indiana, I didn't know how long you stayed. I was like, I wonder if you're an old Dick the Bruiser fan. Remember old Dick the Bruiser?
No.
Remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a great Dick the Bruiser.
He had
story
what his finisher? The claw on the stomach? Wasn't that his finisher?
Was that Dick the? No, that was.
No, that wasn't Dick the Bruiser. I forget who the hell it was. But remember they had the claw?
Oh yeah, that was Baron von Raschke.
Like a claw could take you down, man. Right to your stomach, he get you the claw gimmick. What's your Dick the Bruiser story?
I mean, it's a real simple story. It's Kevin Nash. You know Kevin. He's 7 feet tall, about as impressive a physical specimen as you can see. He walks into the restroom in Detroit where the Bruiser is going to be the special guest referee for a WCW show, and he says, Bruiser, I just want to say that you're pretty much the reason I got into wrestling. You're really, my hero. And Bruiser turns around and he goes, whatever. He hits the flusher, Whatever. Like he said, no one had ever made him feel that small in his life.
Whatever. I didn't know that he played. Did you know? I bet you don't know this, Mick. He played for a season with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
He had that legendary brawl with who was the Alex Karras.
Yeah.
Karras even wrote about it in his biography. It's funny when you go around to different parts of the country, or if you meet somebody and as soon as they tell you who they grew up watching, you kind of knew where they grew up. And you say, "Oh, you're from Indianapolis,"
right? If
if they say they saw the Sheik, the original Sheik, you saw you're from Detroit.
If you say, "Okay, I'm a Harley Race fan," where would you be then?
At Kansas City.
Kansas City. Well, Hogan said one time when wrestling was just first breaking into the territory and Vince was getting on the cable deal, they went to Kansas City and that was big Harley Race territory. And Harley, remember Hogan was taking a poop and Harley broke down the stall and was going to kill Terry because he was supposed to get the strap that night, and then he was going to burn the ring down, remember? Set the ring on fire. And Hogan's like, man, I was scared. I went to Vince Sr. It's like, I'm really scared of this guy.
I was scared of him, too.
You had a big feud with Harley Race, didn't you?
Vader was Harley's guy, and my big breakthrough as the first real good guy turn I got, although I'd done it in Tennessee, was when Vader had done a number on me, and I was going to come back to the crowd to get some revenge with a scoop shovel. And Harley saw me like practicing with the shovel, backstage, like I don't know if I was stomping my foot, but I was obviously trying to figure out how I'm going to throw this, this steel shovel without actually, crushing somebody. And Harley comes up, and he doesn't tell Vader he says this, but he points to Vader. He goes, "If you don't hit him when we come back here, I'm hitting you." And so he kind of sends Vader, not the best thing to send Vader out there to face a guy who's got the fear of Harley in him. And I swung that shovel like my life depended on it. And guys were going, a couple guys were talking about how when that happened, a group of guys were going to run out from backstage. I think it was in Montgomery, Alabama, and you had guys just flat out refusing to run out and and try to stop me because I was like really.
Now, when you were breaking in some of the independents, Hogan used to tell us that they'd pay you like $25 extra for a blade job, and did you ever see it fragmented into like that, where it was
I was never high enough on the card where that would even matter, Hey, at 25, in some cases, would have been almost tripling my take.
Yeah.
You know. No, you know what? By that point, the 2020 expose had gone on there, and the only time, guys were bleeding was when it seemed to, make some kind of sense.
I think you might have dropped more blood than anybody in the industry. I mean, that used to just be part of your daily salary. I mean, if you would have gotten 25 extra for a blade job, you'd be retired by now.
Honestly, when we were in Tennessee and the match were getting kind of grisly, I realized that I could probably make more money donating my blood to the Red Cross than I could spilling it on arena floors.
Anyway, Mick Foley, ladies and gentlemen, I could talk to him for wrestling for hours. My God, I'll tell you. And he just signed up with Dixie and the boys over there at TNA. Now, are you pretty much just booking and doing commentary? Is that what you're doing, Mick?
Well, you know what? We've got a huge announcement this Thursday. I'm not at liberty to tell you what it is.
All right.
It'd probably be more shocking if Clay Aiken hadn't beaten me to the punch a few weeks ago. What the hell? No, it's a huge show, and here's one thing that TNA impressed upon me was that they had a long-term vision,
right?
And that's kind of these days is kind of unique. Not that Vince doesn't have some ideas long-term, but I heard what I went in for a meeting at TNA headquarters or Spike headquarters in New York, and they really impressed upon me that they had a plan and that I thought it could work. And so what I will be talking about on Thursday night is part of that vision. And I'm just really excited, and it's the first time in a while that I've had the feeling that what I'm doing out there really makes a difference.
Well, Mick, let me tell you something. As you get updates and you got press releases and new books and whatever action figures and sock pep, whatever you got going on, man, consider us an outlet. We got all of Florida covered, and we also got that satellite situation as well in the afternoon. So please consider us friends, not foes. And if you need to get the word out about anything, my friend, I could talk to you for hours, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been a few years since I've been on with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
And more importantly, man, I never knew that you wrote a letter on our behalf. That means a lot to me, Mick, and I can't tell you how much. Again, thank you for that, buddy.
Hey, you're welcome. I thought it was a bad deal and tried to do something about it.
Hey, Mick, let's keep in touch, maybe even on Thursday.
Hey, thanks, Bubba. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mick.
All right,
bye now. You know what, Brent? I did not know.
I didn't either until just now.
Manson, isn't that awesome?
That's pretty cool.
One of the very few people, of name people that I know. I mean, a lot of people were upset by it, but I never knew anybody that actually pinned a piece of paper. Spice, that kind of kicks ass.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised at how many people probably did that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Way late, man. Way late. Sorry, back in a minute. Hold on.
This break is to allow the idiots at Clear Channel a chance to transcribe what they just heard.
But you guys are sexy,
More after this on the Bubba Radio Network.
Netflix interviews, take one.
I'm a huge Netflix fan. I started with a free trial and then I was hooked.
Start your Netflix free trial today. Just go online and make a list of the movies you want.
There are so many different kinds of films on Netflix.
Netflix delivers your DVDs free in about one business day from over 100 shipping points all around the country.
I get my movies in about a day.
Keep each DVD as long as you want. There are no due dates and no late fees.
No late fees.
Netflix works at our schedule as opposed to getting it from the video store.
To load our kids in the car and go to the video store is a big hassle.
It's a nightmare. We don't miss the video store at all.
And now, as a bonus to your DVDs, you get to watch some movies and TV episodes instantly right on your TV or your computer.
I love watching instantly.
I think if someone switches to Netflix, tries a free trial, they're going to love it.
Netflix. Rent as many movies as you want for only $8.99 a month. No late fees, ever. To start your Netflix free trial today, go to trynetflix.com.
What's your story? What are you doing to make sure you become successful?
This is your life we're talking about here, people.
Are you satisfied where you are right now? This couch is not your friend. You have a dead-end job. Feel like you can't move forward. You have no excuse. You can start your career training at the school. They care about you. They want you to succeed. They're with you every step of the way for the rest of your life. Change starts right now. You make a move towards your career, towards your future. Your future. It's that simple. Make the call. Make the call. Make the call. It's your call. So make it. Make that call. Make the call. Make the call. Call. Right now. You calling yet or what?
He's a prophet and a visionary.
I heard he's retarded or something.
Let him lead you down the path.
Bubba.
Now back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Hey, MJ, how's it feel to be number 2? Literally, you no-talent piece of
It's just Manson, myself, and Brent. That's it. Now Spice is all freaked out on that. He thinks he's missing something. But once Brent, we got to do a rule on the Brent and Bubba show. Once you've said out, then you can't. There's no going back.
You have to stick with
So
the
Manson
decision.
kind of bamboozled him into him saying out. Then Manson goes, "I'm going to stick around for the 4 or 5 minute Bubba and Brent and Bubba show."
I wouldn't miss it.
And so now Spice is all freaked out, thinking that he's missing something, and that everybody's keeping score.
The time has come. It's 10 after 10. Ned, out. Spice, out. Manson,
here,
out. This is the Brent and Bubba Show. An exclusive show within the show. Better known as the Brent and Bubba Show. Going on until Bubba's bowels get the best of him.
1-888-69 Bubba, I got a quick question for you guys based on for tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of Rays stuff today. Ned, I think you've taken, he's not here, but I think he handed this to you, Brent. The new Rays on Fire song. He took it, and then he put the newest audio and the newest play-by-play television audio in there. So I'll probably play that once an hour tomorrow. So I'll have that as well. But the one thing I'd like to dive into tomorrow is our report card. It came back on Friday at 10 o'clock. We haven't had an opportunity to talk about it. But we are 3 for 3. We've been through 3 report cards since we started on the 8th of January. And we are still, number 1 across the board, 12 plus, 18, 34, 25, 54. Those are the 3 main demographics. I know myself that, if I had back when I used to listen to Neil Rogers and Stephen Gary in Chicago and Kevin Matthews and WLS, they did this sort of thing. They would be open and candidly talk about the ratings that came out and where they rated. And I really, really liked it. And so I'd like to turn it over to you guys. We'll end the show today with taking the first 1 to 11 out of 20 phone calls, which is the majority, as to whether I should discuss, spend, half an hour to 45 minutes tomorrow going over the ratings with you and how the Tampa Bay radio landscape stacks up. Who's what? Who's where? Who's number 3 afternoon drive? Adults, 25-54. Who's number 1 middays? So call me now, 1-888-69-BUBBA, 1-888-69-BUBBA. I'll end the show today with taking your vote for tomorrow. I guess you guys are kind of programming tomorrow's show somewhat, at least an hour of it, as if tomorrow I should, or if you find it necessary or acceptable for me to go through the ratings. Now, we have for the last 2 other times gone through this. The fans unanimously, I should say, agreed that they like to hear that data. So let us know. First 1 to 11. 1-888-69-BUBBA. 1-888-69-BUBBA. If it's busy, keep calling. And we'll see what you think. BJ from Arizona. Hi, BJ.
Yo, how you guys doing, Bubba?
Usually I would give you the standard your standard intro, my friend. How was the Mick Foley stuff? Isn't that guy a good guy?
Oh, yeah, dude. I thought that was one of your best interviews you've done with the wrestler, dude. And
just, what? Not because of me, just because of him, the subject matter. He's great.
He was laid back. He was cool. He was informative. You know what I mean? He was kind of funny, too.
So what's your vote with regards to tomorrow and the reading of the ratings?
First, I want to say, dude, I watched CCW, Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. Bubba, I got to say, I dig it, man, and I dig you doing the voiceovers, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It was pretty awesome. I just have one complaint. They need to boost your levels up because you sound like you're in a basement, but it's awesome to see you on there, dude.
Well, thanks.
So, yeah, go ahead and play the ratings, and I know you're blowing that little midget out of the water, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, well, and this is, we sit here and boast and brag and say we're number 1 and we're this and that, but this truly will give you guys the data. So, like, if you are at work and somebody, it gives you, actually, well, not that you go to work. You work for your sister as a vet tech. But when people around this area, they can go to work and say, hey, when they're talking about their favorite radio show, they can say, well, actually, that show's number 6. I heard it on the Bubba Show.
The proof's in the pudding, man.
All right, BJ, man. BJ, I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, bud.
Yeah, Nick Hogan's out tomorrow, dude. And you guys are going to have him on, all right?
Yeah, I think I'm actually talking to Terry about that, yes.
Dude, congratulations.
Thanks,
dude.
Thanks, buddy. I do not want him screened. I don't have anybody screening him anyway. But I'll just rip right through him. Hi, who's this?
This is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Tell me yes or no on the reading of the ratings tomorrow. Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Brent, you got that too, right?
Yep.
Hi, who's this?
It's Chris.
Chris, what do you think, buddy? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think you should go ahead and do it.
Thank you. That'll be tomorrow if we do get approval from the fine listeners. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. What's your yes or no on the reading of the ratings tomorrow?
No.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. Hi, who's this?
It's Corey.
Hi, Corey.
Hi, man. Yeah, I was saying, I think the radio show was awesome, man, and that was a good interview today, bro.
All right, and what do you think about me discussing the ratings for a segment or so tomorrow?
Yeah, man, I think that'd be cool for a little while, but...
All right, thanks. That's all I need from you. Appreciate it. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, I was just, I think you should go through that ratings.
All right, thank you, Mike. Brent, what's my data so far?
5-1.
5-1. Hi, who's this? Again, you're not. Yes, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to chime in on the, whether or not the Arbitron ratings tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. Would you like me to read them or not tomorrow?
I'd say negative.
All right, thank you. Hi, who's this?
It's Ken, no.
Ken, and your vote's no.
Absolutely no.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Just worry about Amendment 2. That's all he really needs to worry about, Brent.
Sure.
Make sure. Gay marriage should be allowed in Florida. Hi, who's this?
Chris.
Chris, what do you think, buddy?
Yes, let's hear it, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. That'll be tomorrow, hopefully, if we get the approval from the fine people. Hi, who's this?
Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, sweetheart. What do you think?
I think I'd love to hear the ratings information tomorrow.
I'll give it to you tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour, okay, honey?
Okay, sounds great.
She sounds steamy, did she not?
She did.
Wow, she sounded great. What are we at?
7-3.
7-3. I need just a few more for the reading of the ratings tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, who's this?
Adam?
Adam, what do you think?
I think they definitely should play them.
All right, that should put me at 11, should it not?
No, that's
Is that 9?
9.
Is that 9?
9.
All right. Hi, who's this?
It's Brian.
Brian,
what do you do?
Yes or no? Yes, thank you, sir. That's 10. Next one. Hello, who's this?
George.
George, what do you think, buddy?
Absolutely, man. I want to hear how bad Alexis Terry sucked at the next Billboard campaign.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead and play those ratings tomorrow.
We'll play those ratings tomorrow. We'll see how Lex and Terry's billboard campaign worked out for you. Are you kidding me? Whomever put them on should be fired because they perform less than the entire radio station.
Shocking.
Again, that's shocking. Ratings, shocking.
That's a new campaign.
Yeah, our ratings, shocking. Again, if you guys would stop trying to bust my balls and stop counter-programming me, you probably would do better across the board. I'll do that tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour, okay? You guys have a good one. Manson, thanks for swinging on by.
No problem.
Brent?
Yes, sir.
See you guys tomorrow.
Another show in the can. And down the drain. This is the end of today's Bubba the Love Sponge show.